Sorry, wrong button.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Roses Are Red podcast. Welcome for another episode of the Roses Are Red podcast with my amazing co-host Sam and AC. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes,
We're here. We're doing it.
we are here. We made it.
You made it a little bit of technical
difficulties kind of all around.
Yes.
But
So
we're
we
here.
do apologize. We're a little bit late, but we are here. We're on bear with us. We're trying something new, and our this whole new system we are on to give you guys better quality. We're learning it, so bear with us for a little bit, but I do apologize everybody and sorry that we're late, but here we are.
We made it.
Yeah. Better late than never. Yeah,
So-
it's a couple of new systems that we're doing. It's pretty much the same exact thing we did before. It's just where are these buttons? Like 5 minutes before we went on, it was like, I can't hear you. I was like, what? So scramble. But that's live for you, right?
Yes,
we did it.
So we have a cocktail of the week this week because it takes place in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
Myrtle Beach actually is where they're from. So South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Oh,
So
South
what
Carolina.
we're doing now is because it is true crime and cocktails, we are going to have a cocktail that is relevant to the story or area that we are speaking of. So today, what is our cocktail, Rose?
It is vodka and iced tea. And if you're lazy like
Mhm.
me, we're
Sweet tea, right?
sweet tea. Well,
Yes, sweet
this one says iced tea. If you're
Uh-oh.
lazy like me and you don't really want to figure out how to measurements or anything, Cutwater has already pre-made it for you in a can. So it always works best for me. Because I'm like, this works.
Or,
Absolutely.
you can go big or go home and put it in a mason jar. I
A
didn't want
long-
to have to refill or open.
a long night of
I
editing
figured
videos,
it's what was that?
or like a long night of editing videos or working. You don't really want to like mix a drink together. So,
Right.
like open up a can and there you go. Cocktail. Instant
Yes.
cocktail.
And now that we've figured out, and I didn't know this, thanks Sam for introducing that to me today. Each kind of state has its own drink.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed in Nebraska. It's just red beer. And we mentioned that, I think, last show. I don't know. I was like, meh, that's not fun. But, as we do these stories, we're going to get to experience new cocktails and, each region's signature cocktail. And it is true crime and cocktails. I said that. I say cocktails way too many times.
We do a lot of like San Diego stories. So I hope we keep drinking tequila. I'm gonna try to bring it to New York.
California is red wine. We
Now we're
can do that, or a sangria.
Yeah, not where I'm from in San Diego. We're all about tequila here.
Tequila, lime, getting fucked up quick.
Yes. And you know what? On that note, I think we should take a shot before we get into the story.
I'm gonna
We
have
ought
to. Yeah.
to.
Right. So I am gonna do tequila until I go down and
Me
grab
too.
the vodka because I never peed or anything. So
Oh,
Well, we'll let you do that.
we just got on it, yeah. we thought
No.
we could get everything ready because I'd rather do everything now than and struggle a little bit than have to every week incrementally get better. Like let's just go.
Yes, we got this. All
Yeah.
right,
So
drinking straight
cheers,
from the bottle tonight,
everyone.
folks.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
cheers.
Ooh, I'm gonna get some vodka. Ooh, shit. This shit gets me
Now, do
ornery.
you have
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
This shit gets me hot all over my body. So, yeah. Ooh.
I went down the wrong pipe.
What pipe was that?
That just sounded really bad.
How does it feel though? Like going down? How does the sweet tea and vodka feel? How do you feel like you're in Myrtle Beach?
Oh, you know
I
what?
feel
This
like-
is really smooth.
It is. It's quite nice. I don't really taste any
Nice.
vodka.
No, it's sweet.
It's very
good, it's perfect.
refreshing.
Mhm.
I think
So
it'd be
go
good on a
guys,
hot
get
day.
yourself-
Yep.
Yep.
It'd
Go
be really
get your
good on a
guys
hot
self
day.
some. Like I said, it's easy. You can take it to the beach. You don't even have to take bottles with you. Easy.
No, just put it in a cooler with ice. One thing we're going to
Mason
do
jar.
coming forward, yeah, a mason jar. I mean, I thought it was apropos. It's the South. I mean,
They don't have
and
glasses
it's
there.
a
They just drink
funky
out of
thing.
old mason jars, and I'm just a simple country backwoods lawyer. I serve myself in mason jars.
Sweet, so just to me, sweet tea should be served in a mason jar. I don't know. And I
I'm gonna
didn't
go
have
get
to
some
want to
right
have to
now,
refill. Yeah.
and I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna say something really controversial. Fuck sweet tea. Fuck sweet
What?
tea. It's I don't
so
like it. It's too sweet.
good.
It's too sweet. It's too sweet.
I do half and
Oh,
half usually. Half
an Arnold
regular,
Palmer.
half sweet.
Oh,
No,
I
half
just do
sweet
it
tea.
mixed.
Yeah,
that's my
half
favorite.
sweet tea, half regular. And then, sorry, there's something flying around here. And then it's not as sweet, but you get that little hint of sweetness.
I thought you had the Tourette's for a second, like that girl last week,
I
where it
know.
was like
I know.
rotisserie chicken, tippy tap, tippy tippy tap, rotisserie chicken. No,
So-
we lost her. We lost her to the Tourette's.
Jeez. Sometimes I feel like I do.
We got new shit going on. We don't even have,
Yeah.
it's not always old shit.
Right.
So
if you guys
Are
are
you
brand
wanting to go
new to
grab-
the show.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. If you guys are brand new to the show, please subscribe, like, share, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about this. Let us know what
Yeah.
your favorite drink is. We'd love to hear what your favorite cocktail is and what you think
Yeah.
about everything. And
are you from South Carolina? Do you like sweet tea and vodka? I think it's an aberration. I think it's
there
terrible.
you go. I want to do a pirate one. I just want AC to do his pirate voices.
Well, like obviously more rum, more like
We could do
is
a
there
rum runner.
any true crime? Like we should explain what privateers are one day, like actual pirates,
Yeah, we could absolutely.
just to get me to do the voice. The whole time.
Just anything to get you to do that pirate voice. I'm good.
I start talking normal. You're like up. What were we? Like, all right, I'm sorry.
So
Forgive
and
me.
also anybody hello, hey.
Hey, Jamie.
Oh, that was cool. I like that.
Yeah,
That
I
was
know.
fucking
Sorry.
cool.
I'm so used to doing that. So if you don't want me to, I won't.
I didn't even know. Okay, how do
Hit on
Guys,
the comments. There you go.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay. You know what? I couldn't see it on the side. I didn't know where I was going.
guys, we're using
Malibu and Coke Zero. There we go.
We're using
There
new-
we go.
new streaming software. So let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, let us know what it looks like if you like it.
Well, it's a little bit more professional, kind of snappier, not so cartoony, but it's all for you guys. So let us know.
Yeah.
Good, because in case I don't see it, Sam.
I got you.
You know, I was
Yes,
looking,
Jamie, we
Jamie.
did miss you.
I was looking at those. When you filled in and you came in, like I was looking at those YouTube shorts again, and I was like, "Damn, we need to get her back on."
Absolutely.
I'm sure she would be plenty happy to be back on. So
Yeah.
And
I would be
because of
plenty happy.
Jamie, I remember to always tap before I drink now. Because now I'm
Yes.
going, okay,
Tippy,
I make
tippy, tap,
sure
tippy,
my-
tap.
Well, she said the reason that you tap your shot glass down is because back in the day, way back in the day, if they were to poison you, it would float to the top float to the top or sink to the bottom, and that's how you could tell if there was something in your drink, and that was a safeguard, so you didn't die. So
And
Yeah.
the beer. So when
Interesting.
you do, like, when you do a stein of mead down like that, or a stein of beer, that was
Yeah.
because during that time, the king that was in charge at that time was so frail that he couldn't hold up the stein of
oh,
mead.
so it was just like
So when he went down, like as a sign of respect, all the other people were like, "Oh, let's go down with him," like So that's
yeah,
it's it's funny how myths happen and like things eventually evolve. I wonder if the shot thing is different than the beer thing.
yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I just remember always a friend of mine would always, every time I would drink beer, she would hit it and then everything would just go everywhere and I'd be so
Oh,
mad. I'm
like
like,
the top of it.
yeah, I was like, because I'd be holding it, she'd walk up and she'd like, boop. And I'd
Oh,
be like,
no,
oh,
that's just being a dickhead.
Yeah.
That's called just being a dickhead and like
Yeah.
wanting to ruin my beer, you asshole.
I should have been a queen.
There's this one thing I used to think, like, now that you mentioned
She already
this,
thinks she is.
there was this one thing where like every time my uncle would take a shot of whiskey, he would go to the bathroom and do a bump of cocaine. Is that
Oh,
something that goes together?
It must. I mean, I think it makes the whiskey take a little longer to take hold. Puts you
Yeah,
right.
I wonder what
Gives you
magic
a
he's
little
doing
longer
there.
time to drink.
Yeah. Excuse me, everyone. Like, man, what a magical man! What a magical man going to the bathroom all the time.
Right.
You have stories.
So, Richie
Damn, that
Rugg
came up
says,
fast.
I thought it was also to share each other's drink for the splash, so everyone will die if
Of the
there is
poison together.
poison.
That's what
Yeah.
Kink Link. Yeah, that too. Is there any other ones? Like, there's got to be another one where. Is there any like?
Oh, I
No,
don't
that's it.
know. I
Are
don't
there
know.
people who don't? There are people who don't put it down either. They just go, boom,
Yeah. I mean, if anybody knows something different, please let us know because
Yeah.
I'm interested now,
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
pardon me, ladies. As you get this show together, I'm gonna go get my sweet tea and vodka. I'm just a simple podcaster, man. I'll be right back.
So
No
while
worries.
AC's kind of taking respite here to get his refreshments, let's kind of talk about what's coming up in the future for Roses Are Red. We are going to start dropping episodes that are pre-recorded on Mondays, right? Some of them
Absolutely.
will be a story, others might just be updates and headlines. But so you'll get to see us twice a week now, Friday night evenings, and we've already got one in the can for Monday, and that's very exciting too.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, if there's, maybe sometimes, you guys have a story and you want to share it to us, and we already have something like now we have 2 days now. Now you get 2 days of us during the week, which I mean, I know it's hard to believe, but yes, 2 days
Our
of
lovely
us 3.
faces.
Yes. And come and you know what? Go ahead and watch the pre-recorded show. Go ahead and leave your comments while it's live. We will be on the and the blah, if I could talk because words are fucking
Words are
hard
hard.
already. Leave your comments because we'll be answering them as that show is going on. We did one last week because we all had some pre-arrangements to do, and we didn't
Yeah.
want to leave you guys without a show because we love doing this and we love bringing you guys stories on things that we know. We did one and we were on the back end answering the questions there as they were coming in, which was awesome. It was great. It was actually very interesting to see us live, but not be live. It was
Yeah, it's kind of an odd thing. I'm like, wait, I should be doing something. Oh, I am. I am doing something right now. No, it's
yes.
really exciting. I mean, even if it's not a like a deep dive story, maybe it's a news article that you read that would fit the podcast. Uh, the last time we did it, when we pre-recorded, we had a story about a gal that got in a car accident and it was mishandled, or if it's something like that that maybe we don't do a deep dive on, send us the headline and we'll take a gander. Who
And
talks
we'll
like that?
always, towards the end, we'll always give you an update if there is anything that's come up during the week that maybe it was recent. We'll go ahead and give you an update on that
Mhm.
towards the end of the show and let you guys know what's going on if there's anything that we know. So we don't leave you hanging for another week to get to the headline. Sometimes maybe you want to know sooner. So we'll go ahead and do that towards the end of the week or towards the end of the show. We'll let you know on any updates. Other than that, I'm excited. I'm excited that now we're doing 2 days a week,
Me
and
too.
I can't believe it. We're actually, we're here. We're doing it, and
No.
I couldn't ask for 2 better hosts with me, that I look more than family, and it's amazing. It's like a
Damn,
sister and brother,
deeper than
you know.
family.
Yeah.
What is that?
I
Yes.
feel like
What is deeper?
we found the secret sauce when we all kind of came together on this show. Don't take that the wrong
Yeah.
way.
Y'all are
I
nasty
just
bitches.
reran.
Y'all are some nasty bitches, man. I swear to God, like I can't get 5 minutes like talking about everybody came together, bro. Like chill. Like
Came
trying to get
together. I
stabbed.
mean, we even
Trying to get
went karaoke.
trying to get
We were
stabbed out here.
Look, we're all in Vegas. What's that saying? When you're in Vegas, whatever goes there in Vegas stays in Vegas.
It didn't. It did. Look at now. I'm talking about. I mean, I couldn't ask for. We're more than family. We all came together.
Yeah.
We're like
Get
the
another
Three
drink.
Musketeers, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
know.
they were
It's actually so
they,
refreshing here.
they weren't incestuous,
Yeah.
right? The Three Musketeers weren't.
I don't
It
think
wasn't
so.
Right.
incest. Okay, good. That's good.
No.
How about
So
a
we'll
real
let you
cheers
know.
to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina? Now
Yes.
that I got me some iced
Yes.
tea and
Cheers.
vodka. These people are ghetto, bro. Might as well drink Kool-Aid and vodka.
Cheers.
Oh,
Pretty sure Bert Kreischer does.
So,
so what's this
here we
woman's
go.
name again? Why
Mica
should you-
Miller.
I don't know.
Mica Miller.
My number's 28 there. So it said, why only play 22 in roulette? Why's that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about roulette. I'm one of those people that, you know what, I'll try anything. Even if I lose my ass off, I'll still try it and figure it out. Later, I'll be like, oh.
You pick a number. You pick a number 1 through 36, and then you hold your butthole real tight, and you pray.
Yeah, AC was teaching me when we were out there, so I didn't do very well, but that's okay.
I did
we had
okay on the
fun.
video one. When like our very last night, Dave and I were like, we're not going to bed yet, and we played like the video one where it has the actual wheel, but you bet on the video thing. I did okay, but I don't know.
I missed that.
Table
I
games
missed that
freak
one.
me out.
I missed
Yeah,
this one.
you were
A bump and a whiskey. Yeah,
deadly.
yeah, deadly or super fun, whichever. Or somebody could either die or get pregnant.
Or yeah, I was gonna say or both, but I was like, nope.
Or get. I mean, wow.
So this is a good story.
I think we're silly tonight.
Yeah, we are silly. It's gonna be a great weekend, and I'm excited. I'm excited that we are now launching off Monday nights. So please join us on Monday nights. Leave your messages, and we'll be answering you while our podcast is live. It is a pre-recorded show, but we will be answering you guys as it's live on the back end.
Yeah.
So this story that we have today is the Mica Miller story, about a pastor who allegedly killed his wife. From my understanding,
as far
he
as
hasn't been convicted,
they ruled
right?
it as a suicide.
Mm-hmm. So they ruled it as a suicide, but my cards is that, you know what, he did it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he knows.
Okay. Tell us how you really
Yeah.
feel. No evidence.
There's a lot there
that?
that just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
That, you know, not having the evidence, there is a lot there that doesn't make sense. And let's get into, I know that she's really, really well loved in the community. I know people loved her. I know people they had nothing bad to say about her. There's nothing bad. And she sang in the choir of her church. She had a beautiful voice. She did do uh what was the other thing? She did do some TikTok videos about the domestic violence that she was in. So this story is going, it's a hard story, not for many things, because for many things is you know, it's a touchy subject, right? And if you guys are a little bit on the domestic violence, I'm just going to forewarn you, there is a lot of things on here that it might trigger something for some people.
Were you saying that
Absolutely.
some people might be on the domestic violence train? Is that what you're saying?
No. People that maybe have gone through domestic violence that maybe might be a touchy subject for them. I know personally, I was my ex-husband was he was very violent towards me and my daughter, so we went through that. So this is a very touchy subject, but so I just want to let everybody know, up hands. And if you're not familiar with the case of the Mica Miller case.
Also, if you've ever thought of taking your life and anything like that, it does have to do with that as well. So there might be some places in here that you might want to not listen to. But
so I'm going to be in a tough spot because I'm the only boy and both of these chicks have gone through this. So pray for me.
We're coming for you.
Let's kind of get into it. Where it all starts, the only reason we're speaking of this is on April 27th, Mica Miller made a 911 call. She said, I need you to find my, in AC, you may be able to find it on YouTube to play. But in essence, she said, I need you to find I need to know my location. Can you see it? And the 911 operator found it. She goes, well, how can I help you? What's your emergency? She goes, well, and very flatly, and you'll hear this, I'm going to take my own life. I just want my family to know where I'm at.
Jesus
So she
Christ.
did. Yes.
No, I do
Um,
know that 2 FBI agents came on saying that they believe this is an AI recording.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not sure
Here
it
we
was
go.
AI. Let's be real.
Here
They
we go.
tracked her. They have video of her from her ring leaving her home that day.
Mhm.
They also have a video of her at, I believe it was a gun store. She bought a gun, but she took out a large sum of money, not a large sum, $500, but to have $500 on your person, if you're thinking about ending it, that doesn't make sense to
Mhm.
me.
No.
And I'm not sure if it was so much AI. She could have been drugged or, being made to do that. In the audio of it, and we'll play it here in a bit. She's very flat, almost devoid of all emotion. So it makes you think, but she. So I mean,
Because
is
normally she's bubbly. Like, why? Because she's very different. Because normally she's a completely different person. Very bubbly, very nice. Like,
right. But you think in that respect, I mean, at least for myself, I don't know if I would be that flat and matter of fact. This is what I'm going to do. I just needed them to know. I think there might be more emotion there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I
So
don't know.
in that phone call that was um going back and listening to it and then listening to everybody listen to it, you do hear a male's, and this is why they think this could be an FBI, I'm sorry, FBI, a AI recording. The reason why is because in the background you do hear a male's voice, and you also hear the tone of her voice doesn't match her actual voice on recordings that she has from previous. So
Well, let's back up. What would be the reason that they would want to? So we keep saying AI, but what motive? Like Richie said, like what motive would anyone have to place or fake
Okay.
an AI voice? What do they have to gain from that?
Backstory. She and her husband, she had filed for separation in October of last year, 2023. Um, she'd done that. She had gone to her parents and said, or and siblings saying he's abusing me. All these things. Was talking about the mental, the physical. There's all these allegations of how bad their relationship is. They get back together. Come February, they start to separate again. She goes, I just can't. He at one point she was at Walmart. She was going shopping, but he had the thought that um to have her committed. She was committed for 2 days without her consent because he's her husband. And during that time, he went and got her truck or her SUV and her purse while she was in there. The reason he wanted to take the truck is what he said is because she was prone to going on spending sprees, usually around if she gets depressive, and usually around Christmas, she'll go on these huge spending sprees. And he didn't want her to sell the truck in order to have more money to spend. I don't know how,
Mm. That's
yeah.
like drug addict shit. Like, is she at the point like she's so depressed and she has to cheer herself up? She's willing to sell her only means of
See,
transportation to get happy for 5 minutes.
she's not
no,
You know?
ever
and she was
really
very
proven that.
devoted to the
Yeah. So that
church.
that doesn't make sense,
She's
right?
Right,
No, and
doesn't
she's
make
really
sense.
devoted to the church, like
Okay.
super devoted to the church.
Yeah,
Where
Was
um,
he super devoted to the church while he was hitting her?
he's a
he was a
pastor.
pastor.
Oh, right. Well, I'm saying, was he
He's the
devoted to the
pastor.
church while he was hitting her?
Well, I mean, he was still a pastor then.
But
Yeah,
I'm sure.
so
I mean,
everything a pastor does
doesn't
is
mean he's
through the lens of
devoted.
no to them you talk to
Yes.
any pastor, they're the only people that they're a conduit to God. They're the only ones that receive what God says and says it,
Mhm.
right? So
mhm,
they are literally, so man, this is what God is giving us to make a
Right.
speakerphone. That
Uh,
makes no sense. So what I wanted
right.
to say
Well,
was that guy is not with God, you know.
no, he's not. Absolutely.
mhm.
So fast forward, she gets out, she gets the truck back. Her tires get slashed. She goes to the police and says, "I'm fearing for my life." She not only does her tires get slashed, she finds a tracker on her car. As she goes, "I think I know who it is." They allude to it being her ex-husband or soon-to-be ex-husband. Um, as that's happening, she gets a phone call, and it's him, the uh, suspect. They say because his name's been redacted.
The perp.
Yes, that no charges have been filed, but it was the suspect, and then he briefly showed up as she's speaking with the police officer, and he speeds away. She identifies that's who I think it is. And that's who it is. Again, we can only assume it's the ex-husband, right? Um, she has been goes on social media saying, "This is hard. I'm kind of I'm only having a select. I'm keeping my circle tight. I think she doesn't know who to trust at this point, but I'm keeping it tight. Know that I'm here, and and she has also talked to her brother and sister, saying, for one, she can't wait to see her life without him in it. She's still afraid of that, but it's going to be exciting. And has also said to them each on separate occasions, if there is a bullet in my head, it wasn't me, it was him.
To be clear, this is all blasphemy because he's a pastor, right?
To be
And
fair,
Rose, you can take the ball and run with it right after this. I just want to set the tone. You're kind of trapped because, even if you're the pastor doing the worst, most horrible things, the pastor can't do the most horrible things, right? So everything has to be covered up. The corruption is ridiculous, and she must feel like she has no way out. Every one of her friends are corrupted because you also have to deal with God, right?
well, yeah, I mean, she can't turn to the people of the church because he's the pastor. How can he? What did you do in this situation?
Right. And every time she got hit, it's like, well, what did you do to get hit? Like there's going to be victim blaming because there's always going to be a hierarchy, and God's always above it all, and then you come, and then the guy, and then the woman, usually, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, he was a real pastor. He was a real pastor of his church.
I mean, he passed the classes.
He has since been he has since been relieved of his duties based on some of the findings from all this case. So,
so recently, right? Only just recently, he confessed to slashing her tires, to putting a tracker in her car, to doing all these things. He just recently confessed to all this.
God told him to do it.
So he didn't say God. He just said that he said, yes, I did it. But there was always an excuse why he did it.
You're a pastor.
At one point, he told her
everything.
At one point, he told her separation should be fine. We need to be separated, but there's no reason for us to have a divorce. So he still wanted that control. I mean, the way it looks, he still wanted that control over her and her assets. Whatever they, while she was in the hospital when he committed her, he moved all of her things out of their home, and also their marital home put in one of his son's names. Now he's 14 years older than she is, so I would assume he could have adult sons. He's our age, so kind of to get to the day in question, 2 days prior to them, or to her alleged suicide, she files for divorce. The papers are served. She, again, people speaking, her lawyer even for this had spoken to her that day, and she was in good spirits and wanting to trudge ahead, and again said the same things as she had to her sister and her brother. I can't wait to see what my life will be prior, or after this is all over. I am a little afraid, but who isn't? She was not someone speaking as if they were going to take their own life.
No, because she was even making plans, right, to go visit her friends, to have lunch like 2 days prior to this. She was making plans to go have lunch.
She thinks that there's a life after living with a pastor. And there is. I mean, there's so many rules that you have to live by, and so many, like, closeted
She
skeletons
wasn't
that you
his
cannot let
first
go of.
marriage, which in Christianity, I mean, that's kind of frowned
Mhm.
upon. Don't get me wrong. It's,
Yeah,
but it is. I mean, they
it
say,
is. It totally is.
the person you lay with is it should be the only person you're with.
That's right.
So she passes on the 27th, literally the day after. He announces it in his sermon at church and said it was suicide and that the church should leave and not speak of it.
And nobody even knew what was going on yet. No one had a clue. They didn't even know she had passed. They didn't even know she was missing. They literally, it was the day after.
So he outed himself by saying, "Hey, guess what happened? No one knows this, but I do."
I mean,
That's
Yeah.
they
retarded.
knew they knew she was not with them anymore. But
Gotcha.
nothing had been disclosed of the manner of death,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
if that makes
Of
sense.
course not. Of course not. I mean,
Um,
And even on her TikTok videos, if you go back on because she's made some TikTok videos, if you go back and listen to her TikTok videos, she's like, you know, I know that divorce is really bad and it's not something that should be done. I get it, but also is abuse isn't supposed to be, is abuse supposed to be good? Like she's crying her heart out in these videos I watched, and it was just like you kind of felt like you just want to go through the phone and give her or the video and just kind of give her a hug and say, "You know what,
no.
honey, everything
From
it's gonna be okay."
from my perspective, she's not loving God hard enough. And if she loved God and she asked God for forgiveness for whatever she's done, she would get enlightened on how she can please her husband better. What you're not doing, sweetheart, is you're not working hard enough in your marriage. So the reason you're getting hit or you perceived getting abuse, that's not it. He loves you very much. It's just you're stepping out of line and there's certain things you have to do.
what's interesting is in her divorce filing, she had said that he did abuse her, but he had groomed her from the age of 10. She met him at 10 years old.
Hmm.
By the age of 15, they were intimate. And then
And he was how old?
he's 15 years older than her. So
So
he was
Yeah.
statutory rape.
30. Yeah.
Statutory rape. Okay.
Yes. And then by the age of 22, they were married. So 7 years after that, they were married. So she believed he had groomed her from the age of 10. Uh, Shortly after her passing, his ex-wife came out, and this was corroborated by things she had told her family and the police and her lawyer, that Micah had come out and said, "Hey, I want to say this is what happened when I was with him. Uh, he had an affinity for younger women, much younger, minor women, not just younger women, minor women, um, not even women, girls. He
That's what
also
I was
had an
about to say.
affinity. Sorry, I don't know why I say that. He had an affinity for prostitutes that he would have his wife at the time, whoever it was, Micah or his previous wife, go find them with him. And they didn't participate with that, but he had to let them know
That's a
he was
bridge too
gonna go
far.
get it, and
That's a
I
bridge too
mean,
far. And what was the reasoning? Did he ever go into like,
it
sweetie, we have to go find another woman to give me fellatio? I mean, I know you have a mouth, but it's just
I
not the same.
I
I'm gonna
think
need a
it was
new.
a power. There was nothing that was
A
said, but
power
I mean,
trip.
it was another manipulative thing, like, "I can do this, I'm the man, blah, blah, blah." So he
Don't make
wasn't.
me look bad.
And to be fair, his alibi for when she had allegedly committed suicide, he was out having a relationship with another woman, and they
Perfect
hadn't
alibi.
even. I mean, uh,
I couldn't have killed my wife. I was out fucking a prostitute. I'm a pastor,
right? I mean,
Yeah.
so that's a
so
little bit hard to swallow that
to be
sentence.
fair,
But
he's since been let go from the church. They
Which
say to let him grieve and whatever, but he's not grieving. Let's be real.
I don't think so
uh,
either. I think he's already looking for his next young victim, to be honest. I
he
think he's
probably
looking at his
already
next
has it.
something.
do you guys
I mean,
remember that?
just
You guys remember the Latter Day Saints episode that we did with the
Yeah, this very
LDFS?
much
With,
this
yeah.
very much,
so the
uh
Latter Day Saints, the Mormon sect, a very small, very fringe, right? Like 2,000 people or so. They take child brides. Exactly, and they take child brides, and it kind of harkens me back to that because it's a power trip. It's also a very small, like, it's not widely accepted, so it's not something that he can like widely say like to his congregation, say like, I think we all should have 4 wives, or fuck a prostitute that we find, you know, on Fifth Street. Like that is so anathema. It's so like antithesis of what a pastor is supposed to do, that I don't know how he got away with this, you know.
And she's so beautiful. I mean, look at, she's so beautiful. And like I said, go back and listen to her videos. I mean, there's a lot on YouTube. There's a lot on TikTok. Her videos, and they're the ones that she did herself are on there. She really just sounds like she is such a lovely lady. Like
Yeah, and she was so involved in the church. She drank the Kool-Aid of the church. You know what I mean? I believe this is, you know, she was in the choir. She sang. She helped other women. You know what I mean? She was very. I don't know. I mean, to say she
and nobody
saint,
had one
not,
bad thing to say about her. No one had one thing bad to say. Yeah,
but the real question is, did anybody in the congregation ever have anything bad to say about the pastor? She can be a perfect angel and she's perfect, but my investigation is going to lie on how many people were aware, even just that, you know, people spill the tea all the time. It's not just like, oh, I didn't know what was going on behind closed doors. Bullshit. Everybody knows everything. So like, what did he know? Like, what did the congregation know? And what did the congregation let them get away with? Because you give men passes, and especially when they're holy men, that can't look bad because everybody looks bad, you know?
I can't remember, but was there, Sam, and I don't know if you know, but wasn't he upset, and don't quote me on this one, because I'm not 100% sure. Wasn't he upset with, one of someone who came to testify, that he didn't do it? He was upset on the way that they testified for him, like,
I believe so, but now I can't think of it.
I can't really, I'm trying to remember where it was. But I think, I think there was. Yeah.
If my internet wasn't so wonky right now, I'd pull it up, but.
Case closed. She was going to go expose his predatory behavior with children, and he had to get rid of her. Of course, yeah. Things were getting too thick. Everything was coming to a head.
Or maybe
he does have an alibi. But I think he orchestrated it.
Yeah. I mean, and she's guilty in the same way that Gypsy Rose is guilty. Hey, do you mind knocking off my old lady while I go fuck this prostitute? Oldest trick in the game, right?
Or, you know, Jennifer Pan.
I mean, it is what it is.
She wanted to be with her. She wanted to be with her boyfriend. So let me just knock out my parents since they're in the middle.
Spoiler alert for Monday.
Oh shit!
You guys want to start off with her 911 call?
Yes, please.
Let's check that out, and then I guess work backwards. Let's get to know her by her worst moment.
We can't hear it.
I know.
Robeson County 911. What's the address of your emergency?
Hi. Are you able to trace the location of my phone?
Let me see. You don't know where you're at?
In National Park.
What's the phone number you're calling me from?
843-655-5242.
Where's the park located at?
In Fair Bluff.
I'm going to stop it right here so we can comment on it. So this is where you're saying like this is not even like her, right? She's like completely like drugged up or something, right? She sounds like she's on fentanyl.
If you go back to the very, very beginning, and if we all mute our mics, if you go back to the very, very beginning, you will hear a man's voice in the background before she talks. In the very beginning of this, and if we all mute our mics, we'll be able to hear it.
So what does that denote? That a man was with her, but it wasn't her husband. He was
no, but this is where they're saying that this is where it's an AI recording and it's not her, because she's with somebody else and it doesn't sound like her.
Who's saying
We're saying that? So there's a couple of retired FBI agents. They're on YouTube and TikTok. I didn't. Let me try to find it.
They like boomer FBI agents. Like that sounds like the old. Like,
And this is where they're saying that they so
like,
upgraded
AI. Like
AI,
nobody.
all this.
Like
Well, this
that's
is
gonna
where
be.
now they're saying this is crazy. This is scary now that AI is
That's gonna.
taking over a lot of things.
Thank you for segueing into that. Midnight Media is going to go into that entire thing so everybody can learn what AI is. But that's going to be the new scapegoat for everything going forward. Is like, oh, it was AI. Oh, it was it was a deep fake. Oh, it was a mask with AI and a voice changer. It's always going to be that from now on. If whatever we used before to fucking to cope about the lies that we believe, now it's going to be like the scapegoat is going to be like, oh, AI. It's so easy.
Mhm.
Anybody can just throw a thing on their voice, and anybody could be anybody. Joe Biden can just, now he's Obama. So this is happening already. It's going to be super accelerated. So I'm just saying, like,
I'm not
guard
exactly
your family.
convinced it would be AI. I'm more to
I like
think
to
that
listen. I
she
like to listen
was,
to.
yeah, I'm in my opinion, I think maybe she was drugged or being, I don't know, held at gunpoint, or, being made to be like this. I don't, for her to be so flat and
Because I also, like, I can
devoid.
give you I have an AI voice right now I can show you, and she's
Mhm,
happy. She's like, "Hey, how are you?" Da 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 da. Like, just because she's sad doesn't
mhm.
mean it's AI. That's what I'm wondering about these FBI agents. How old are they? If they're like 60 years old, they have no idea what the fuck AI is. You know what I mean?
So let me see if I
True.
can find it. Yeah, I mean, there's so many
So,
things that's out there going
And that's
on and
and that's
talking about this case because this case is a very big case. Um,
I
and the
never
fact
heard
that
of
he
it.
was a past, really?
I mean,
Never, never, never.
and honestly, until, I mean, truthful, posed it to us. I don't
Yeah,
really watch the news all that much, which is silly because we do a show like this, and I do news stories and things. However, once I started looking into it, I was like, "Holy fuck, this is insane!" I
now we just
mean,
have to figure
Yeah.
it out. Doesn't sound like he has much of an emergency. Exactly.
mhm.
Exactly. AI is going to fuck up a lot of shit. I'm telling you. I did a couple of videos already, a couple of TikToks, and a couple of things saying, like, especially the older folks are going to be very susceptible to this. They don't know what they're looking at. They have no idea. They're going to call like somebody, a telemarketer is going to, hey, it's me, it's Adrian, your son, and it could be not
I'm
me.
worried
And
about
then,
that too for the
of course,
older
absolutely, I'm not worried about us.
generation.
We have one foot in the analog and one foot in the digital, so we can see. We've
Mhm,
seen the spectrum, so we know you can't pull the wool on us. We're already looking out for it. The
I know
problem is
through
our parents and people who are like think like AI is gonna, you're like, that must be AI. You have no idea what AI is like or what it's
well, and it's
capable of.
it's amazing what you can do without it, to scam, like the older population. I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely.
so many, it just happens. And, Medicare, false claims and all that sort of thing. They don't know, and, and a lot of people
I don't
just want
know
to talk to someone.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
through personal experience, we'd already gone through it. We got a phone call,
And AI is brand new.
and
We haven't even scratched the surface of what this is going to do to us. It's going to destroy us from the inside out.
we got a phone call, and it sounded just like my mother, devastated and crying. And she's like, she calls and she says, "Hey, I need you to pick me up here, but I need you to bring some money." She's devastated and crying. Um, and she's literally next door. So I walk next door and I'm like, "Mom, are you okay?" And you told me you were at the spot. And my mom's like, "What are you talking about?" And we'd already gone through that. And that's that. So I know
That's the
personally,
tip.
I've
That's the
heard,
tip of the iceberg. That is somebody who sounds like. Now imagine somebody who looks like, moves like, has the same bank account information. Like everything is that person, and then suddenly you realize that it's not. Like it's
yeah,
going to be way deeper than that. It's going to
that's
be
why.
every part of my point in doing this video is that every point in our reality soon is going to be not believed. Like we already think that things are like, oh, fake news, right? That was like already like super hard to comprehend. Now we go into like anything on TV could be not real. Any like somebody could be manipulated. Everybody's a puppet master. Like we're gonna go
mhm.
insane thinking that everything is fake, and we're not gonna know what's real. It's gonna be fucked up. It's gonna be fucked up. We have to hold
Going
on
through
tight.
some
Yes.
Anyway,
scary
let's
times.
listen to this. If you find it, go for it. We'll play the rest of this.
There we go. I think I sent it in our group chat.
Okay, let me play the rest of this call while we for the
Yeah.
Yeah.
audience. Until I bring this up.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I have my location on, I think, on my phone.
Those detectives look exactly like I thought, by the way.
Find my phone is on. I just did my my location.
Okay, I'm showing. Hold on 1 second.
So long pauses.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you are in Robeson County.
Can you tell me where I am, please? I know that one.
Yeah, the Lumber River State Park. And
Yeah, that's where I am.
That's it. That's where I
okay,
am. Why don't you know that?
tell me what
You drove yourself
happened.
there.
Right.
I'm about to kill myself, and
Wow.
I just want my family to know where to find me.
Okay, ma'am. Just listen to what I'm saying, okay? Let me make sure I got the exact location where you're at, okay? Just 1 minute.
All right, in the middle of a forest, right? You're in the middle of a forest. We'll send somebody. Like, how hard would it be to pinpoint that person? My God.
I mean, what are your thoughts now, AC, hearing that for the first time?
For the first time hearing that,
Mm-hmm.
It's almost plausible to think that she's gone through so much abuse that she wants to do that, and she wants to like leave everything behind. Because I bet she even thinks like, you know what, like my kids won't even fucking believe me. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna go towards their dad, and you know I'm just always gonna be victim blamed. It's kind of plausible to think that she has no way out, even through her children, through the church, through her family, because everybody's like indoctrinated into the same thing. Imagine trying to get out of quicksand, but everybody's made of quicksand. Like fuck. So I can understand that position where it's like I don't know any other way and it's, if you're deeply religious, you cannot take your own life. So that's the other part of it. So are you pushed to that certain edge, and was that guy so much of a monster that it pushed her to that edge? Like no child, no mom, no religion, no nothing can save you. And plus, watching a pastor do that to you is literally wrecking everything you ever thought about religion and your whole crux of what you thought was a man should do, right? Like you protect, I'll stay home, trad wife, and you do and you kind of tell me what to do a little bit because you got, you're wearing the pants, but like I do everything. It's almost like a partnership. Not really. It's still a huge power dynamic. People never think about the power dynamic when it comes to like people want power and they get corrupted. So that's plausible on one end. On the second end, I can also see that what Richie was saying, for example, everything was coming to a head and he needed to make a decision. So he wiped his hands a bit, talked to some bad hombres, and they drugged her up and took her out to the middle of the woods to like do her in. She got away, used the phone, called the 911, and she was all fucked up. And she like tried to do her best to come together with her mind and right and like to do well, to do right by her children at least, and her family. But I can honestly right now at this moment I'm 50-50.
Well, but you know what? There's videos of her so the Ring camera, because they had a Ring camera at their door. You see her come in through to the door. She doesn't look distraught. She doesn't look like something's wrong. You see her too as she goes to the bank. You see the footage of her going to the bank. She doesn't look like a person where she's fidgety, or because if there's something you're gonna be nervous, right? I mean, I don't think you're gonna be super calm and collective and have your workout gear and
What do you
be,
wait?
go to
What is she nervous about?
if you're gonna take your life, you're not gonna go to. I believe she went and got coffee in the gym, I think,
By the
before,
but
or
think of
she
it
went
this way:
Gas
somewhere.
up her
by,
car.
by, by the time you get the wherewithal that that's your final solution, imagine what you've gone through. You don't give a fuck, bro. You're probably mentally dead at that point. You're like, take me. You're probably a zombie walking around.
But she didn't look like that. She did not look like, in her video, she didn't look the video camera of her coming home
What did people
opening
like,
her door.
did she encounter people at the bank? What did they say? Did she look fucked up? Did she look tired?
No, nothing.
Nothing. She
She
looked
said she
perfectly
looked
fine.
However,
she was
every
on the
video
phone
that
making
was there,
But
she
she's getting
was
abused.
alone. Yes.
Mhm.
she is alone. She is.
But she
But they're also
immediately
talking
that day
about
got approved to buy a handgun. And she seemed fine then. There was a witness-ish. So there was a gentleman, fisherman, who was fishing that day, and as he was on his boat, he heard crying, and he thought, "I wonder what's going on," and then he heard a gunshot. He, he's he, in his own words, said, "I almost thought about dipping because I didn't wanna be blamed for anything, but I did what was right, and I went and looked." He found her belongings quite a ways from her. Um Anyway, for quite a ways from her. Again, she had $500 in cash on her in her belongings, and then she was found. Um, she was found in the water, but the gun was what was it, like 40 feet away from her,
40, yeah, 40 some
something
feet
like
away
that.
from her.
Yes.
In the water?
Um.
And the water was
Uh.
it
And
was low. It wasn't
and she
high.
was in
It
the water
wasn't high
too.
tide.
And she was in the water too?
Yeah, and the water was not. The water didn't move. It
No
wasn't
current?
like there was a no current. Yeah. So
No. And the gentleman that was out there
no, they
fishing said it was like low tide, kind of like it wasn't high, it was very low. But he was out there fishing. He said, and he describes, look, I was here, I heard crying, I heard someone crying, and then I heard a gunshot, and then there was no crying. And then he kind of shows in that video where he kind of sees it.
Well,
Let me
you
see if I can
couldn't really
find that.
see what
And
had
where
happened.
is she
He said that there
where is
was
she
so many
where is she shot?
trees, in
Where is
a
she
in a
shot?
so there's a
The
lake,
front?
and she was back in the woods.
No, but I mean, like, on her
Um,
head, like, where was she
oh
shot, like,
yeah,
on her body?
I believe in her head. Yes.
In her head, like, forward this way or this way?
I don't know.
I only
Um,
ask that because, it's hard to, like, suicide yourself in certain ways.
right. It's consistent with suicide, with everything, but they didn't do toxicology. They didn't do like GSR residue. That was redundant.
Oh,
Gunshot
I wonder
residue
why.
on her hands.
Hmm.
They didn't check that out. So her lawyer says that she's upset, even though it appeared to be this. They did all the only evidence they collected supported that. They didn't do a complete investigation just to make sure to rule out all
Okay.
the other things.
So that's fishy. So certain things were omitted from, like, the traditional homicide report. Do you think the husband had something to do with holding some of that back and be like, "Hey, boys, maybe you don't do all that." You know what I mean?
Maybe, or I mean,
Yeah.
maybe the police were like, "This is open and shut. It looks like a suicide. There was a call,"
Yeah.
and maybe it
Here's
was
where I
lazy
find it.
police work.
Dude's a pastor, chick had it coming, close the door. All done.
It
Here's
could
where
be.
I find it fishy. Here's where I find it very odd. And AC, I sent you on the link in our chat, the fisherman. Here's where I find it fishy. I find it fishy that the next day, not even 24 hours later, he goes up onto the podium and he says, she killed herself. Nobody talk about it. Done. Like it's like a okay, done. Like nobody speak of it. Nobody grieved for her. She was like, uh,
Well,
wash
because
hands, like,
well,
she's like a piece of paper. Rip it up, throw it
remember,
away in the trash,
she
move
left
on.
me. She's not of God. She, like, decided to, like, do something that's, like, imagine, like, you have everything on your side. If you're a man and a pastor, you have God on your side and you have everything that is the patriarchy, right? Like, good for good or bad, right? Like, so when you invest in that, like, there's no way the guy's fucking Teflon. Like, he's probably got it's a small town. He
Yeah,
has
but people have feelings. I mean,
everybody in his
people
pocket.
have feelings. People have
No,
feelings.
people have feelings for
People
God.
gotta grieve.
People
I
have
mean,
feelings for
I
God.
know from personal my ex-husband, he committed suicide. And I
Right.
know from my ex-husband, people grieve. You've got people that they
Sure.
truly loved her.
But
They're gonna feel something. Like you can't just say
the narrative is
no
spun by him.
feelings.
The narrative is spun by him. So, I mean, it worked, didn't it? Aside from
Yeah,
whatever
I
we
mean,
think, it fucking worked.
yeah, because they
Like,
committed it. Yeah, the
right.
way they
So
rolled
I'm
it.
telling you,
Absolutely.
God trumps everything. When you sit in those fucking seats, everything,
Now, do
whatever
you
the guy's
think
saying is law.
okay, so here's my question to you two. Do you think this is something,
All right, I guess we'll
because
watch
the
this
way
again.
they ruled it, is it something that the system just said, "Eh"? Do you know what I mean? Or do you think
No, the
maybe,
only system oppressing
um,
everything here is religion.
because of the religion,
Yeah.
because he was a pastor, do you think
Yeah.
the being a pastor had something to play in this part where they just, said, "It can't be him."
For everything I just stated, like he's a man, he's got people. It's a small town. People are in his back pocket. Like we don't have to investigate more. She's a woman. Like I'm telling you what's going on. Like she left. She's a harlot, and people are like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Maybe she wanted more. She wanted more than I can give. I'm a godly man. She wanted cabarets in the nightlife. Maybe she's in Vegas doing a can dance. Like you can paint her like a bitch, and people will just be like, "Yeah, I guess so. She's a bitch." And then the mom recedes everything. Like people who really care or like want to ask questions don't really matter anymore. You know what I
Now,
mean? Like
because he had a tracker on her, right? He had a tracker on her,
normal.
um, right? Do you think that because of that, he knew that she went and bought a gun? Or do you think maybe she was, pushed to go buy a gun?
Ooh, by who? That's an interesting one. Who would push her to buy a gun?
That's not Do you think maybe she was pushed to buy a gun, or maybe, she was threatened that if he didn't go buy this gun, because remember, she went and bought it, she went in there by herself. She bought a gun.
Okay.
Maybe was she threatened, "Hey, if you don't do this and go in
What?
there and get,"
What
maybe was she threatened that she had to go buy, like,
threat? Like
like steps? Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe someone's threatening her life and driving her to all these places. Um,
so like the GPS would ping that they're going around all those places.
uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason like no one would ever pressure somebody who's like to get a gun. I don't think that like that. Like I
Well,
don't
I
think anybody
mean,
would pressure her
if
in that
we
situation.
believe that
They
somebody
would.
found her or made her go to the woods and then,
And she's
made
scared.
it look like a suicide, or
And she got a
maybe
gun the same day.
drugged her.
She got
Mhm.
she got
Yeah,
a
it
gun the
was
same
that
day.
day.
It was
Wow.
that day.
hmm
Damn. So
So
that
maybe
that's
she's scared for her
So,
life, and
or was
she's
it opportunistic?
so South Carolina has
Maybe
a
it was
no way.
maybe she was. Yeah,
So
she based on her track record, they have a no wait you can get a handgun that day.
well,
Um,
I mean,
so, well,
normally you have to
what
go
if
for
she
a
was
7-day
afraid?
waiting period.
and like the
hmm
Married Couple podcast says here, if you are being forced to buy a gun and drive somewhere, to be shot, you certainly don't sound that calm,
Unless
but
you're on
maybe,
fentanyl.
well,
Right,
what if she
unless you're drugged.
wasn't?
So,
Yeah.
here's my thought. What if she thinks I served the guy divorce papers and he's already slashed my tires and had me committed? I need a gun for protection. He's
She
been
must have
tracking me with a
she
tracker.
must have known
So
by now.
maybe
Like
it's I mean, he's been tracking me. She already knew that. So what if, I don't know, opportunistic of said
so the
of
only
her
reason
ex. Maybe it's not
the only
exactly
reason we get
him. Maybe she goes to the park to clear her mind and somebody intercepts her between the gun buying and the thing and
so
says,
it'll
"You
be
know what? This
performative.
is it." Like
Buying the gun will be
yes.
performative. Okay.
But where she went, it
Not
was like the
her. No,
bayou, it looked like. It didn't look like a park, it looked like the bayou from, like,
Yeah, it's
do you know what
country.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's what it looked like, and I sent you the clip of the guy
Oh,
that
we
actually
have a lot.
heard the
We have a lot of
noises.
clips to get to. Actually, we have
Yeah,
like 3
um,
detective
yeah,
videos
I guess what I'm
and
trying to yeah. Real quick, what I'm
and
trying to say
oh,
is what if
yeah.
she's
yeah.
doing this for her own protection? She wants to clear her mind and then whomever I mean saying this was not a suicide and it was, maybe she was made to commit suicide or whatever. Maybe they saw that as the opportunistic time. Okay, now we know she has it. Let's take advantage of it. He's out and he's paid me to do this. That could definitely be, I don't know. Anything's possible, right?
I have questions
Right.
about the gun. I have questions about the gun. Number one, if it's your first gun and you don't have a gun to kill yourself with, okay, sorry, I'll
I'm
shut up.
listening, I'm listening. No, no,
No,
no, keep going,
how
keep
can we
going.
do this and how can we do this and drink at the same time?
Yeah,
I don't know.
but
No,
you
I'm
don't.
trying to
I got to concentrate on my drink. So yeah, so what I'm saying is like it's like it would be. I have questions about the gun because number one, if this is your first gun, you need to take a class and then you need to wait to make sure you pass a background check.
Right, you would think.
Yeah. So getting one the same day is pretty crazy. And then also not having any firearms training. So if you had no firearms training and this is your first gun,
Hold
I
on, you can
highly
hold
doubt
on. I
somebody's
can
going
tell
to hand
you,
you a handgun.
you can get a buyer's permit
Mhm.
without having any training. I
Oh,
had a buyer's
really?
permit before. Yeah, you can.
And you
You
bought a
just
gun the
go.
same
You
day?
I
It's a
didn't. I
valid
have never bought a gun, but I
it's a
went to the
valid it's a
sheriff's
valid
office
question.
here. Yeah, this is in Nebraska, but I went so I could go and get like my concealed carry. I had a concealed carry permit at one point.
Which took you
But
a while to get. So you had to
well,
get
that
that.
I had to. It took me a day to do a class, and then I had to
Okay.
send in the paperwork.
Okay.
However, to get the buyer's permit, I went to the sheriff's office. I said, "Here's my driver's license." They made sure that, I mean, they did whatever background check. And that day, they handed me the buyer's permit,
They did
which
the
in
background
turn
check
meant
and
I could go
it
whatever. I mean, I went to the sheriff's office. It was literally that day. I walked out with it. They said, "Okay, you're okay to buy a gun." I didn't have a criminal record. I went, you know what I mean? I didn't have anything. So I went, I could have in turn turned around and went and bought a handgun that day because I had a buyer's permit.
Wow. So
Really?
I got that so I could get my concealed carry, and then what I did, the concealed carry was 4 hours of classroom time and then half the day of shooting time. It was nothing. It was not as much as you think it would be to get a concealed carry.
so you could technically do the
And
class
a
in the
lot of
morning and the
states aren't
shooting
even that strict.
in the
Yeah.
afternoon and then like get a gun like by 8 p.m.
I mean,
My
I could
point
have I had a gun prior to that. I could conceal it. I wouldn't be able to conceal it right away. I have to
do you,
send that in and pay the
do you
money.
understand do you understand why I'm asking for this story? Because if it lines up, like I totally believe you. Yeah, every state has different gun laws, and I'm looking at South Carolina's, and they don't need a fucking permit or anything. The only thing you need a permit is to carry a handgun. You don't even need a permit to carry a rifle. So I guess my question is like,
Right.
was there enough time for her to sober up from the fentanyl fucking whatever was going on? If that's one of the theories. Number two, for her to leave her manic depressive like state that she was in and be like, oh, I don't want to kill myself. There's a lot. There's in 8 or 9 hours. There's a lot of things like sitting in a class that you can work through and be like, you know what? I don't want to die. You know what I mean? Like it feels like it was rash. It was like, let me get that gun. Give me the gun right now. And then like, you know what I'm saying? Like
It appears to be that way. Yeah.
unless it was like a backwoods like gun place, I guess. That's all I'm thinking. You understand why I'm saying that? Like there's time to rationalize if you had to like go through steps to get a gun. And if you don't, then you already
She
have
didn't
one.
have
So
to
what?
though. No, literally, she walked in that day and they handed her a gun and she left. She got ammunition with it and left. So my thought was maybe
Here you go.
she's afraid for her life. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens.
Or
I mean,
Are you a school
yeah,
shooter?
it could
Here you
have
go.
been.
Here you go.
But
Right.
maybe because maybe because she knew her husband was tracking her. Could it be where she knew he was tracking her? She was scared for her life, went and bought a gun to protect herself. Because you see in the video, she goes back home after leaving and going and buying the gun. If I'm not mistaken, she leaves the house. You see it through the Ring camera. Comes back home from like drinking coffee and going to work out. Then she leaves again, and then comes back home, and
She
then
brought the
she
gun
leaves
inside.
again.
She brought the gun inside and took it back out with her.
You don't see it. You just see her with, I think it's like bags, I believe.
Hmm.
You don't see that. And then she goes back, she leaves the house again, but she doesn't look like someone distraught. And she's by herself. You don't see anybody with her either. So,
Maybe
you
she knows
know,
she's on ring cam. She needs to play it cool. And to get to her ends, like to get to the end of this fucking chapter, either by escaping or by killing myself, I can't just go around like a crazy person. The only way to do it is like doing these things. You have to be, you guys both know, you have to be pushed to such a brink that a lot of stuff must have gone through your head. You're like, fuck, how do I get out of this? Right. So like, imagine her.
and to be
on
fair, the
top of it,
calm could have been, I've made my decision. This is going to happen. I've made
that's
my
it.
peace.
Right. Right before an operation. I can't be like, "Ah," for like 8 hours, it is what it is.
so
So
Sam, on the part, do you have a little bit more of the description where the next day after this all goes down, what he said, what the pastor said?
let me know when
Not
you want to hit the detectives, and I also have I have like 4 videos. Let me
whenever
know.
whenever you guys want.
You tell me.
You know, it's
Let's do some of the videos. I mean,
okay.
we've got what? I
We've
mean,
got an
a
hour.
little bit left. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
we're good. We're good. Cool. Maybe we can do a video
So
talk.
let's-
Video talk.
yeah, let's do
share
that.
screen.
Let's kind of move it that way.
There it is. Boom. Let's get some of this.
I'm about to.
I'm sorry, and this is the rest of the phone call, or which one is
I
this one?
believe this is, I don't know. She sent it. I believe it's the FBI talking about why they think it's AI. Am I correct in that?
I
I
have a couple other ones with like, dude,
update.
what I said earlier about like, I bet there are a bunch of boomer detectives going, it's AI.
Yeah,
They're old dudes.
they are. I saw that too.
Not a young one in the bunch. I'm like, come on, do you really know what AI is? Now, if you tell me that you're like head of the AI Institute of like whatever, and you work there, like you know what it is, like you head up some special task force, okay. But like, if you're just like, I got a hunch, I'm a gumshoe, and I got a hunch about AI.
Kill myself.
So yeah, I believe that's.
And I just want my family to know where to find me.
Okay, a 911 call.
3:03 p.m. Deputies with the Sheriff's Office head to Lumber River State Park. Contact the park rangers and begin a search within 30 minutes. Specialized units searching for Mica from the air are deployed. 3:50 p.m. Detectives are approached by someone fishing in the area who says they heard crying followed by a gunshot. They also found a bag a few feet from the water's edge with Mica's ID inside of it.
So to put a pin in that, to not go too far in between. So we also think, so that's a theory as well, where she went out, she was crying, boom, fell in the water, no crying no more. That could have either been performative for the guy who killed her, or it could actually be a suicide.
Yeah.
What does Richie say?
He says, I came across a dead guy, shot it in the head. Detectives show up and decide it's suicide. I tell them it's a homicide. They change the code to a murder.
Boom. Murder was the case that they gave
Maybe.
you. They can just sprinkle some crack on you, like the great Dave Chappelle says, and they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
It depends which cop comes to your rescue. But so that was pretty quick how they got in the
how
air.
they feel
too,
about
like,
it that day.
Right.
Mhm.
Are they getting a divorce?
Well, I mean, she did make the call.
Right. Is their pastor beating their wife?
Right.
4:23 p.m. A kayaker in the area calls 911 to report a body in the water. A perimeter is created to secure the area for an investigation. Within the hour, the chief of detectives arrives and the medical examiner is called.
So within a span of 3 hours,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think that was just a timeline of what happened that day after the call. So
I'm impressed at the speediness of, I guess, America, right? America can get a gun like in 2 hours, whatever, you know. And then I'm also kind of, yeah, I know you can't do it in like a couple of states. It's like impossible to do that. So it just depends.
California,
South
New
Carolina,
York, not allowed.
Illinois, New Jersey,
Yep.
Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island,
Very
Massachusetts.
strict. However, if you get a concealed carry in Nevada, I believe you can carry everywhere.
Oh yeah, I can open it. I can brandish.
I mean,
it a
that was
bit
like
if I
the
want
big
to.
thing when I
It's
was
the Wild
getting.
West. Yeah, for sure.
I believe it's Nevada. When I was getting mine, I got it, just here in Nebraska. But if you get a Nevada one, it literally gives you almost carte blanche to carry it
Oh, yeah.
anywhere,
Yeah.
with
Now, is it the
exception
same
the
thing for
states that
Texas?
strictly forbid it.
Because I
Yeah.
think Texas is
Texas
also the
doesn't
same thing,
even
right?
have a concealed carry law. Texas doesn't. You don't even have to. They have open carry. It doesn't matter. You don't
Open
have
carry.
to.
This is an open carry state, by
Okay.
the way. This is Nevada's open carry, so you can have
Yeah.
your gun
Open
on your
carry.
waist everywhere. I see people with their guns on their waist. My brother is a gun nut. All his friends have gun racks on gun racks.
Yeah, I don't believe even in Texas you have to certify to get concealed. Pretty
No, I
Yeah, I
think
remember when I had to go to my
Yeah.
daughter wanted to go to the gun range, and I remember I had to take like this test and do all these things before I got into like actually do one of the, to go
One
into
would
the gun
think that's
range.
the way it should be.
that was my point. Maybe this woman would still be alive if there was a little bit of like, you can't get it in the next 15 minutes. Like there's some things you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
unless you go to fucking a back alley to buy a fucking gun, that's different. Nobody can stop that. But if you go to a store,
Right.
somebody should say like, "Are you okay? Like, are you well? Are you thinking about shooting up a school? Like, what's the difference? Like giving a school shooter
I mean,
a gun in
and
2 minutes or
that's literally
giving a
what
lady same shit."
gun reform that's what I mean, honestly, that's what gun reform has wanted, I mean, in all of this, but the NRA, and I'm not trying to be a shit. I have had a concealed carry permit. You know what I mean? It's not that
Guns are
I
great.
don't, but there should be those checks and balances
Yeah.
that say, I mean, you shouldn't be able to go get one that day. You should have to have a mental health evaluation. You should have to have what you're going through be looked at only because, I mean, her situation, I mean, anyone going through a divorce, and having that being abused and all, I mean, you
What are
would
you
have to
going
say,
through right now?
why do you
What are you
need
going
this
through?
for? What are
Yeah.
you going to
And
use
maybe
it for?
and that also gives you the opportunity to say like, I'm being abused and I'm worried and I might have to use it. And then now you have a
Exactly.
dialogue going with somebody who can help, unless he's a part of the church, in which case, bang bang.
Mhm.
But you know what I'm saying? Like if there was, like if I was the fattest person in the entire world, if I was like 1,000 pounds, just like a ridiculous, flabby, amorphous blob, and you rolled me into IHOP and put
Mhm.
my fucking fat ass stomach right up against the counter and said, "Bring me all the fucking pancakes you got and bring me all the tutti fruities," wouldn't the guy be like, "Dude, maybe we should like,
You sure?
you sure
You want a
about this?"
salad?
And not everything's that overt, right? Like not everything's
Right.
like gonna be in your face like that, but like maybe a distraught, like despondent woman, like going, "May I please have a 357?" What like, are you okay? Just like a kid with long hair and a trench coat, I'd be like, what are you gonna do with it? But there's a
Mhm.
certain level of America where you can't do that, because once we start doing
The
that,
right
it's a
to
slippery
bear
slope.
arms,
It's a slippery
but
slope.
that was
So
a
everybody
law,
gets it, not just
and
some,
it's
everybody.
all, I mean, again, don't get me wrong, I think they have their place. However, the right to bear arms was
I
for
love
back
it.
in the day when the country was so volatile that they wanted the people to be able to bear arms and fight against,
Their
you
tyrannical
know,
government. Yeah.
yes.
But they
So,
had
I
muskets.
mean,
They had
yeah,
muskets. They didn't have Abram tanks and
they
drones.
had muzzle loaders. You know what I mean, it wasn't
Four,
something that
4 minutes. Like, I'm gonna shoot you in 4 fucking minutes, bro. Just chill
have
right
you
there.
ever have you ever tried a muzzle loader? They are rough.
Yeah. It's like
And
They are rough.
blunderbuss. It's like a blunderbuss. It's like a huge boom.
Richie Ruggs, can you let us know what state you're in? Because he says they never asked me a question at all. So I'm wondering what state you're in.
They just got them on the shelf like Twix. You get them off the toilet.
I'd like to know because I mean it's interesting to find out that every state is completely different. Like I know Texas, it was like a big thing when
That's the whole thing about
all
America.
the whole politics came in. And I don't want to get into politics, but I do know that they were all this was like a big thing,
So
back
Mhm.
and
here's
so
the main difference
I'd
is that
like to
every state can do whatever they want, because if it's the federal government telling you what to do, that's communism, right? Like, right. So that's what we never want, is for the
Well,
federal government to blanket tell us
and
what to do.
that's
So
why
every state
okay.
does it.
that's why
We
abortion laws are the way they are. I mean, they put them to the
This
states so
was
the federal government can't go, "It wasn't me," but I can lift the ban on those abortion laws, and I can, you know what I mean? The Supreme Court went, we're going to overturn Roe v. Wade, or we're going to overturn whatever. You know what I mean? It was,
right.
I mean,
It
it's
wasn't
just
so
that's why
antagonistic.
each state
People
is
still work together.
so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. New
and,
And
York
and
as
it's
soon as
so
City.
they start,
interesting.
linking up to, that's the whole thing about America. Like you're talking about American history. Like it's always we're a constitutional republic, right? We're a
Mhm.
republic, and that means that every under the Constitution we can have 50 different, completely wildly different things, and that's the whole beauty of America. If it was all the same, we'd be fucking
Well,
Finland.
it is. I
You
mean,
know what
that's
I'm saying?
why
So like,
some
right.
states you can buy pot
That's,
and
I can
others
smoke
you
weed
can't.
right now. Yeah, I can smoke weed right now, and I'm totally legal, and so can she, but you can't,
So
right?
I have a question.
I cannot.
And I don't know very much about this, but I know a little bit. Um, does it transfer? So let's say, you go to a state, you buy a gun, and you come to,
Mhm.
let's say you come to California. Does that transfer over?
You have
Or
to
do you
abide by.
have to redo the whole thing over? Like you got to go and take
Do you
your
live there?
test or whatever.
Do you live there, or
Well,
am I visiting?
Well, hold on.
let's say you're either
Hmm?
let's
If
say
I
you're
had
visiting.
If I'm visiting, I have to
If the
account for
state
whatever
does
laws I'm
not
in.
have, yes, you have to go by the state you're visiting. If
You're a
somebody has a concealed carry permit and they go to a place like New York, you have to put your gun in the trunk. You have to put your the
Amazing.
ammunition cannot be even close. You know what I mean? And if you are to conceal carry, you have to get special, permission. You
And you
have
have
to
papers on
follow.
you. Mhm.
Yes. So, again, by getting most states that have concealed carries allow that
Oh,
you
I
can
see what you're
go
saying.
between states, especially if you have a Nevada concealed carry, which is weird.
Yeah, and if you're
it
in
is the way it
Nevada,
is.
you can literally whip both your pistols out and have pistol whip, and have whatever you
Okay.
want. You can literally pay for stuff
It
at the.
doesn't matter. You don't even
You
have
can
to
go,
have a
you can go to
permit to
7-Eleven and be
open
like,
carry, correct?
how much is it? You know,
Okay. That's what I was wondering. Like, okay, I like, let's say,
But if I was to go to
I'm in
California, which is
Texas,
very strict, right?
yeah.
in New York
Isn't
City,
California
and
very strict?
look,
Yes.
oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course. And Richie Rugg says, "Look, of course." And I was like, They didn't question me at all. Let's do some homework, right? I'm calm. This was an NYC in the '80s. Yeah, no shit. Everything's
Yes,
changed in the
that's
'80s.
different.
Just everything, of course. Yeah, duh. Try to get one now. You're gonna wait 3 weeks, and they're gonna do a background check, and it's like a psychiatric workup. But then you go to here, and you can just whip them out and fucking go to the desert and fucking.
However,
It
if
just,
you were
it
to
is what
buy
it is.
if you were to buy a firearm in Nevada, is there a wait period before you get it?
No,
You said
I don't think so.
okay,
I don't think so. This is the kind of state where I don't think it is, right? I
right.
think the first time, what I was saying was, I think the first time you ever get something, like you have to go to a class. I think the first time ever, like if you're a kid,
Okay, in
like,
Nevada?
right?
Yeah,
I
a lot
believe
of
so.
a
I'll
lot of
check.
states make you go through like a hunting class before
Right.
you
I don't think
At
Florida
least,
does.
at least so you know how to fucking load it. Doesn't it make sense? Like
I
I
don't
get,
think
it would make sense.
I
it
mean, I
would
guess,
make
but,
sense,
Don't-
but then
you don't
again,
want no motherfucking guy from the fucking state putting foot on my neck, telling me what
Well,
to
it's
do.
funny.
That's what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
in a concealed carry class, I mean, they tell you to never point at something you don't intend to kill. Don't finger off. You learn finger control or trigger control. They don't expect you to know that before you buy a gun, though. That's only to
Right.
get a concealed carry. Isn't that like a dumb moment? Like,
That
I
was my
think we should
question
all
from-
have a basic safety with this. You know,
well, you know
that's
what? Even
communism.
like a good a background check to make sure you don't have like
No.
PTSD or
No.
I don't know anything because especially there's a lot
Go
of
move,
people
go move to
that have
California.
that.
You want to be California,
know?
commie? No.
I mean, I know that I have a friend that he's in Florida and he's really a big advocate on having your own weapons and this, and he displays it all the time when I talk to him on Facebook and stuff. And I don't think I don't think they do any tests. I've never asked him. I
They
should
do.
ask him to find
No, they
out.
do. I'm from there, and they do. So sometimes if he's from somewhere else, it might like carry over a little bit, and then you just have to do a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
But there are laws in Florida for sure, like pretty much like Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, Texas, Montana, Nebraska, Kentucky, Wyoming, like all like the middle of like the southern border states and like all the way to the middle. All
Uh-huh.
of that you can fucking have 2 rifles hanging out the goddamn window, like waiting, like because it's for hunting. The problem is, like, no one can take that away from you, and nobody wants you to have a 7-day waiting period because now you're infringing on my God-given right to have a weapon to defend myself against the government. That's the whole thing, right? So if you can never tell me, the federal government, the president can never ever tell me that guns are taken away. You can never ban guns. That's why it's like, for example, Roe versus Wade, when the abortion, like the thing with abortion was it was federal, so you can get one anywhere. People who were pro-life were dying because they're like, oh my God, they just wanted it down to the states. So what the Supreme Court did, they struck that down and said it's no longer federal. It goes down to the states. The states decide. The thing is that the states are mainly kind of conservative.
States
And they're
had
like,
those shadow bans put into place.
right.
to
As
put
soon as
into-
it went down, then there was
It
no
was like-
abortion.
It was
Right.
like,
Like,
we're
Okay,
going
so-
to completely
They had
ban it
plan.
or make it, so unattainable.
They already had that plan.
Now they're talking about making abortion drugs class 3 fucking, or whatever, making it like it would be cocaine. You know what I
It's
mean?
extremely,
Which
Yeah.
is
extremely
fucking
Now-
stupid.
extremely
Now,
common.
do you guys think? Okay, now do you guys think
Don't
now?
do it. Don't do it.
Like I
Don't
know California is very strict on these
Don't
laws,
do this.
right?
Why do you want to keep
Do
talking
you
about
think
it?
every street, blah, blah, every street, or oh my god, every state should be
State?
this strict? Yes, there we go.
No,
Words are fucking hard, folks.
of
Okay,
course not.
as Sam
And
would say.
no, I know you're going to ask this question. Is no, of course not.
Do I
Anybody?
do I think
No.
it needs to be that extreme? No, but do I think there should be some reform? Abso-fucking-lutely.
But not federally. That's the issue. So now we're getting back
That's the
into
thing.
the issue. Like you're saying, like you think every state should be. No, every state cannot be that because we're a republic. Every state needs to do their own thing. That's why we have representatives in each state. That's why we have an electoral college. That's why we have people representatives that we choose so they can make our decision. Right? We're representative republic. So it can't be that. People will lose their mind. It's fundamentally against everything. If Joe Biden does something and it's like federal and everybody's like fucking communism, it's just like, you know, Obama wanted to rip everything off the walls because he would do something for everyone. As soon as you hear the term for everyone, that means communism. I need to make my own decisions. You don't tell me if there's a mask on my face. You don't tell me to take a vaccine. You don't tell me nothing, none of that. I make my own decisions. None of that. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
here's the thing.
yeah, I mean that's why we
Now,
can't have socialized medicine
Yeah.
and things.
And you know what? And if you die from a gun or you got a gun too fast, boo-hoo. Sorry, that's what it takes to break a few eggs to live in America. Like,
okay, so here's the next question. Because of everything that's gone on, you know, this lovely woman, now she's been killed, you know, because she went and purchased it. We don't know um if it was something with she did or someone did it to her and it was this easy. Should we you know, does this kind of change your opinion on things?
no. The lady had to die, so we're able to defend ourselves against the tyranny of our country. Freedom isn't free. Have you ever heard of that one?
Oh,
Freedom isn't
absolutely.
free,
I
and
right here, look. I have
and
this right back here.
the tree of liberty needs to feed on blood every so often for their new leaves to grow. So people need to die so freedom can continue, so we can continue to make the choice if we want the gun or not. I framed it earlier like I don't know if I made it seem like I don't want guns, but like I was just thinking like, man, if they would have stopped her for like 2 hours, maybe she could have thought it over, you know. But never do I ever
Well, I
want to
agree.
be our guns taken away. Never, never. Neither does your husband or anybody like that. Promise you that. Right?
Or let's just go to IHOP and have pancakes.
I'm the fattest. Just wheel me up to the fucking be like, oh, what's
Pancakes.
fruity? You know?
That just does sound
Are
good
you
right now.
sure?
I'm not gonna lie.
Are you sure? Like he wants the tutti frutti? Are you sure? He's like, yeah, he has 10 tutti fruttis. Bring him 10.
I want to have some.
Okay.
You know
And
what?
a
I want
box
some
of bullets.
pancakes.
And a box of bullets.
Ugh,
So,
jeez.
But that's a
do
hard
you-
conversation. That's a hard conversation to
It
have.
is.
Everybody has different opinions on it. Everybody comes from
Yes.
military families, so you can't even have that. Just like that chick couldn't have an opinion about God and like all that. You can't have you're from a military family, so am I. I can't have an opinion on that. Like, no way. Imagine taking.
That's you
It's
can
such a
always
hard
have an
controversy.
opinion on anything, even if it differs
Yeah.
from the people you grew up with.
You might want to
Can you
push it
not?
down though. If it goes against the grain too much, you might want to push it down. Unless you want to be ostracized and be like, haha, the one commie, you know. So when you're just
But you know
thinking
what?
like,
I'm willing to take that. I'm willing to be different. I'm willing to be like, okay, she has a different opinion, you know, because it's at the end of the
Okay.
day, I'm the one who's going to go to bed and put my head on a pillow and sleep with what I believe in, right?
I find
So
it
it's
very,
like,
I find it incredible that we had a conversation about a month ago about some hardline stuff we're not going to bring up, but here you're willing to bend some rules.
sir, you know what? Certain things like I like on this topic, I believe that I think the strictness should be just because of the amount of things that have happened on easy with the shooting parts, like the schools and stuff like that.
We should have armed.
But
What they're going to tell you. I'm not saying this to you. I'm just.
I don't
I'm
believe
giving
that they should take your rights away. No, but I believe that maybe a
The
little
moment
bit
that
more stricter, you
the
know,
moment that
to
happens, the moment they make it
So-
not easy for me to get a gun to defend myself, you have infringed on my government and my God-given rights, my unalienable rights. Unfortunately,
Right. So I mean, if we look at was it New Zealand? They had a mass shooting. They banned guns, and have they had one
Christchurch.
since?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have they had one
Christchurch, New
since?
Zealand. They have not, but then again, that country is not as diverse. You know, I'm sure. You know, there's a lot of different there's people from all, it's not even a color thing anymore. It's like people from every
I mean,
different
let's be
spectrum.
real. I mean, I could get mad and have a knife, and I've done stories about people in New Zealand who go on a rampage with a knife. But
the UK.
do as many people die? They don't.
They can't mass die because you're not using a war machine on them to cut their
That's what I'm
flesh at a very
saying.
fast. Yeah, and like, yeah, exactly. Right. I'm agreeing with you. Like the mass thing is, yeah. But and I'm just working out with you because that's, to me, is foreign as fuck. Like, imagine having a bunch of knives or like 2 katanas. Like that's, like that's crazy.
Now, do you think because it was so easy for this this lovely lady, because she was a beautiful lady that everybody, I've not heard one thing. Nobody's ever said one thing bad about her at all.
I didn't like her.
Do you think that because of it was this fast to get her again, if it was a little bit harder, maybe she would still be, or maybe expand a little bit, had more time on her to still be alive, or maybe change her thoughts if that was the route she went? Like if this was true on suicide, if this is there's no this is the way she went out. Do you think maybe if it was a little bit stricter, she would still be alive and still be here with us? Maybe changed her mind because it might have taken a day or two to get that concealed weapon.
How
Do you
about
guys think
15? How about 20 minutes? Can we just go like half an hour? So like maybe just like,
I mean,
what am I
I do.
doing?
I honestly
that was
do. I also find it statistically, when women commit or try to commit suicide, it's not typically by a gun.
blow your brains out. Yeah.
It's usually pills or cutting.
Ozempic.
It's not. It's typically not what you would expect. It's typically not gunshot. Based on the way our brains work, men typically go for the grand, it's going to be final, it's going to be done. And they typically go for the gun and it's going to be over. Women typically will do the pills or do, cutting or something like that. Not that they don't want it to be final, but it's just not, our, well, it's not even just, it's just not the way our brains work usually. Granted, we know that
I think you guys
a gun gets the job done, but
you don't want your kids to find you like all fucked up either, right? Like if anybody was to find you, like you don't want to be like in an ugly position. I think that's part of it too. Like for women, like at least be presentable so I don't scare anybody, because you guys are, you guys think about stuff like that.
Well, in studies and statistically, women, it's not that we don't want it to be done, but it's almost no. Women don't have bad aim, but that's funny.
We do not have bad aim.
Generally.
No, but statistically, men are more final in their decisions.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. It's going to be done. Women are more like, I want it to be over. However, maybe I don't. You know what I mean? So if I take pills and somebody finds me, you can pump my stomach. If I cut myself and you find me early enough, the out. And that's kind of the difference in the way we think about things. Or it's more rash decision. Typically in male suicides, it's like, it's going to happen. I'm doing it now. There's no thinking about it. There's no planning it. It's just done.
That if you cut your wrist like this, that way it's like you're just crying for help. But if you do it this way,
gotta do it this way.
That's like you're like,
I know.
Shit. Oh my bad. She's like, oh yeah, that's the way you do it. I was like,
no, and then I know, I don't know. I read a lot. No, but in that respect, women typically plan and plot, not plot, but plan their leaving of this world, where men typically are rash decisions, and when they do, they want to do it now and make it final. So it's rare to see that.
Does the term elegance ever come through? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like being like I want it to be a little elegant, at least. Like
maybe,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think so too. Like where men wouldn't just be like, "Fuck it," brains all over the refrigerator. It's so stupid.
Right.
I mean, it's hard. Like I know with my ex-husband when he took his life. I know that he ended up first he tried cutting himself and it didn't work. And then his
He didn't
next
realize
option
you
was
had to cut the wrong. He was probably cutting the wrong way. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Or
no,
maybe,
he
or maybe he
probably
was
did.
just
I'm
maybe he
just
was a
saying
pussy.
probably did. And maybe and then, then he went to the closet and shot himself. But
Pay attention to me.
um
Yeah.
I think it was probably a cry for help or a cry for attention or
One last
um
chance.
Mhm.
something. But unfortunately, and during that time during COVID, uh, they didn't actually end up finding him until like 3 days later, from my understanding.
Jesus
That
Christ.
he did that to
Bless you.
himself. So yeah, it could be maybe I
I,
don't know this
I
and the story is so hard because the story you hear his side and you hear her side and I don't know, I'm still gearing my thing is I'm still gearing towards he did it because like I
yes,
said, 24
because
hours later, he says that nobody even knows that she'd even killed her. Not even the cops still even knew from my
but
understanding.
you also already hate him from
I mean, they
the
knew
abuse.
three
So,
after. Yeah, they knew 3 hours after she made the call that she had passed or that she was dead. However, they probably would have let him know, because he was still her husband. But I don't know, what sort
let me
I
tell
mean,
you.
the
of
way he went up and said it,
I
the way
know,
he
that's what
went
I'm saying.
on yeah, the way
Yeah.
he went up on his stand there, and he's like, "Nobody talk about it, yes, da, da, da." Like, you kind of like, there's no even, like, a feel of remor like, "Wow, I just heard this news. I'm
But
saddened to hear this news, blah, blah, blah." You know what I
so
mean?
he
Like,
told. I'm sorry. He told the congregation, "Hey, she's dead. Don't think about her anymore." Or, "Hey, she's
yeah,
gone. Don't think about her anymore."
I believe she
She's
said
dead, she
she's
committed
dead,
suicide,
right?
Dead.
don't
Okay.
talk
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and don't
I
talk
mean,
about it, but it wasn't
think of it
like
that way. Like if she's going against God, if she's decided to turn your back on her marriage, her children, stop trying, like become
She
excommunicated from
didn't
the
have
church. Like
children.
those.
She had
Oh, I'm sorry.
stepchildren.
no, no, no.
Stepchildren. Okay. Like I don't know. Like still, like everything was crumbling for her. Like
I don't
those
know,
are big things for a
but there
woman.
wasn't even a
Did she get
even as a pastor, okay? I'm a
I, c-
minister, right?
yeah, and I can tell
Even
you,
then, you still have a little remorse to say, "Hey, you know what? I know you're grieving. Everybody's gonna grieve, and I know everybody's gonna take their time because she was well known in the church. She
a
sang. She was there with her
not up
husband.
until the pastor says she's not. She's not
a
bigger than the pastor.
normal person, a
A
normal
normal,
pastor
Yeah,
who didn't have an affinity for minors and didn't have
exactly.
an affinity for prostitutes and
Drug.
didn't have an
Exactly.
affinity for beating his wife or hurting her, and she feared for her life. She intimated to multiple people,
Yeah.
for one, that she was excited not excited, but ready to get on with her life and move on without him. Yet she also said, if you find a bullet in my head, it's not me.
and she even said in her video too, divorce is not accepted and it's not allowed in like she even said divorce is not allowed in our
That's
church,
correct.
but also abuse is not
Yet she
allowed.
wasn't his first
Why
wife.
she
No one
yeah,
said that. No one's ever said abuse is not allowed. They just said marriage is not allowed.
but
Let's
she
be
said that
fair.
is why is abuse she even said that like don't
It's a
quote me on the words. She said abuse is
If
not
divorce isn't allowed, why is abuse? Right?
yes,
Something like
yes,
that.
that's exactly what she said,
exactly
something like that. Mhm.
right. That's
Why
my
is
point.
abuse
Like
allowed?
he's not.
She even
He's a pastor in the same way that I'm a fucking a sprint Olympic sprinter. Like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, there's like he's I'm the Kool-Aid man. I can say I have a certificate to be the Kool-Aid man, but what do I do to be the Kool-Aid man? Do I actually live by those beliefs? None of the things he does or what I've heard so far is godly at all. At all. At all. Starting with
No, he just knows how
pedophilia all the
to
way to the
he
adultery.
knows how to pull a crowd in, and that's
manipulate.
why he was yeah, I mean, he's let's be real, a
Charlatan.
classic narcissist.
Yeah, charlatan.
You know
He
what
was
I
a great
mean?
A tra-
Yeah.
manipulator.
he was the guy that he was a traveling sideshow guy in the
I
West.
mean
They're like, "Hey, I'm here with the tonics," you know, like
Snake
this is
I
oil
what it
mean,
is.
Sam,
snake oil
I know
salesman,
you're in the
yes.
same boat as I am. We know how it is
Mhm.
to be with a manipulator. We know that they make you believe that They're the world,
Gaslight you.
and you, yeah, and gaslight you,
They
and they
love bomb you,
actually,
and they said he did for her. He groomed her when she was young. He love bombed her, and that's a new phrase, but I get it. I've been there. You know what I mean? You get all that, in the beginning, and then they slowly just whittle away at your self-worth. And then you think, oh, well, maybe I am dumb. Maybe I do deserve this. Maybe I am in the wrong. Maybe I should let him go have sex with a fucking prostitute. Maybe I
Right
should go
there.
fucking
That was
help
it.
him.
Yep.
Maybe I
And
should
then you
help him
spiral.
find it because yeah, and then when you're like, no, this is wrong, they're like, no, it's not. You're the one in the wrong, and
Yeah.
you start thinking you're fucking crazy. And then they
yeah,
isolate you from your family, which he did with her. You know what I mean? They isolate you from your family and your friends, and it's
It's
sorry.
law. What we say is law.
Rose, you get
and it's
it.
so hard. It's
Yeah,
so hard unless
Yes.
you've been in a situation,
I think you do
an
too, AC.
abusive relation. I mean, unless you've been in a situation, where you've been in a very abusive relationship, and there's so much involved on
But did you
how
ever have to choose between you and God? Like, did you ever have to choose between your husband and God? Ever?
There were times I had to choose between me and my family. There was times you have to, the way they make you
Sure.
feel. It's not like a manipulator will go, it's either your family or me. They actually twist shit
Right.
around to say,
Yeah.
"Oh
Well,
my
and
god."
in this respect, you're right, AC. He is, in her eyes, especially
She's
because she's known
He's
him since she
choosing.
was, yeah, she's known him since she was 10. So when she was
True.
10, he was 24, right?
Father,
So she,
pastor, right? Like what else?
yeah,
Like
she's seen him as a man of God his whole life, her whole,
Mhm.
but a
conscious
father
life. Really,
figure
I mean,
too.
yeah, I
Because she
mean,
was
but
little.
she was little. And then he goes, oh, whatever. And so, especially in that, he goes, I am godly and blah blah blah. She probably didn't even see it coming, because from everything I've seen, she had a wonderful family. She had a great example with
Mhm.
her father and her mother. She was
She
close with
did
her
not look.
siblings.
She didn't look like she was all about shopping and the luxury life of
No,
having
that was just
a
a yarn
bag or
done.
glasses or this.
Yeah.
And if you look at her videos, a lot of them look like she's videotaping them from her bathroom. You don't see anything in the background where it shows that she might be remotely, or her clothes that she wears. It doesn't show anything like that. It
You're
doesn't show
humble.
she,
Yeah.
yeah, looks very humble. She looks like a very down to earth person. The way she speaks, the way her beliefs are. Hey, if why should it be this way if we're that, if God speaks this way? Like, she's talking about the Bible on how, okay, if God says this, why is this allowed? Why am I going through this? It doesn't show
Mhm.
anything of well, this, it's just her
But
meaner of things.
but you also have to
It's just
always
different.
listen to your husband, and you always have to like
Well, I
he's
mean,
the leader.
I mean, do you know where the rule of thumb came from, and why you shouldn't really say it? Uh,
Oh,
Rule
why?
of thumb meant that was this is back in the day when beating your wife was a thing, and it wasn't bad. They
And
said
it
you
was
can't
cool. Yeah, it
beat
was
your
cool.
wife with something any bigger than the width of your thumb.
Hmm.
Oh,
That's the rule of thumb.
I can agree with
And
that. Yeah,
even
Allie gets these bruises.
I didn't
there you
mean
go
to.
with your
I
all
didn't mean to
right,
do that.
everybody, let's go
Yeah,
ahead
let's
and
do
take
this.
our next shot here. We're at the hour and 30-minute mark, and just let everybody know, if you're not following us, follow us on YouTube, and you actually can watch all these
Wait,
video clips that we have on here if you're watching us on any other
Yes.
channel.
are we doing shots and
Yes, we're
cocktails? So we're
doing
doing
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
shots and cocktails. We're
so it's
doing
true
both.
crime shots and cocktails. Okay, got it.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Let's
Where's
do
your
it.
shot, AC?
It's
I
all
see
in
a
this.
cocktail
It's all in this huge
in your
cup.
hand.
I was
I
prepared
don't
for.
s I
No,
don't see
I
the
was on.
it's probably a heavy pour.
Please don't
Let's
allow
be
me to. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's it's,
we'll let you do that.
it's tea. Look, I'll wet my whistle with some more vodka, but
All right,
please,
here we
All
go,
right.
everybody. Cheers.
cheers
Cheers.
to you. Mm, mm. And once again, we're having sweet tea with vodka, and that's the national,
Vodka.
or I'm sorry, the national. See, I was about to go communist. That's the state drink of
Drink. The
these people in
signature
South
drink
Carolina.
of South
Do you
Carolina.
do you know which is another story from South Carolina that I would love to cover? The Murdaws.
What's that? Okay.
Alex Murdaugh. You know what that is?
Oh.
He was the defense attorney, and he was basically like one of the biggest lawyers in South Carolina. I'm talking about like Bayou people, like these people, like super white people, like
I like the Bayou
transparent,
stories.
but they're not
Which one?
Bayou. They're really country. They're more like Colonel Sanders country. And so he has a bunch of kids, and one of the kids killed some people with the huge conspiracy. You haven't heard about this? The Murdaughs, Alex Murdaugh.
I believe I have. It's been a bit.
Sounds familiar, but it's been a bit.
I don't want to ruin it for you. It's an iceberg.
Well, let's
but
put it on. Let's put it on the calendar and let's do it.
next.
And by the way, if you guys
I'm in no
are,
hurry.
by the way, if you guys are lazy like me, we're not even lazy. I don't want to sit there and figure out the measurements of anything. I just want to be able to open a drink up and drink it. Cutwater has this vodka and iced tea. You guys can go ahead and they have a mixture of a lot of drinks. Go ahead and go
Everything
ahead
from Bloody Marys to Moscow Mules to
Yep.
You name it, Palomas. You know what I mean?
And if you're in San Diego, go check out Liz. She's one of the hosts out in Cutwater there at the main distillery there. And see, you said hi. You heard about her from us. So Liz, if you're watching and you're hearing us, thank you so much for today, and thank you for this amazing vodka and iced tea. I really like it.
Yeah. I'll drink it every day if the price is right. No, I'm kidding. I also drink other things for the prices. So anyway, so now that we got some more liquor in us, let's not. I guess the gun thing is let's put that to rest, right? Obviously, woulda, coulda, shoulda. If there was less gun, if there was more,
Let's be fair with all of this. I mean, there's a lot of things coming to light with John Paul Miller, her ex-husband. There's a lot of things coming to light about, their relationship and all. At this point, nobody has been charged with anything. There have been some protests about it, justice for Mica. There have been, there's been put into place what they call Mica's Law. This law has been on the books and legislation in South Carolina since 2020, I believe. But once this happened, basically it was kind of going into, she had said, hey, he's abusing, blah, blah, blah. And it helps, people in that situation maybe get out a little bit easier than she had it.
And just be able to speak and tell anybody, because it's got to be like super daunting to like, I had no one in the world is going to believe me. Everybody's going to think I'm tearing apart my family on purpose. You're a harlot,
And if you're going through something like this, please make sure you reach out to somebody, let them know.
Was it 988 now? If you have thoughts of taking your own life, if you need somebody to speak with, definitely do that. It's honestly, I'm pretty sure it's 988. But
it is.
There's always somebody there to listen, and there are people who want to help, and you're not alone. Life sucks, and we just don't want it to suck so bad that you don't want to be here. So,
and know that you're loved.
Yes,
personally
absolutely.
If you want to give me a call, I will personally hear you out.
I will too.
Come on our podcast, like, not to exploit what you're going through, but like, let's talk about it. Let's have a good time. Let's do
conversation.
Let's do how was your day? Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Let's just
it wouldn't be an interrogation.
And laugh. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And watch me get high.
But honestly, I mean, this is a serious thing, and
it is.
Let's just take it at face value. If everything is the way it is, then this is sad. I mean, because she didn't, even leading up to that point, seem like that was the way she was going to go. And if she felt so much alone that she couldn't come out of it, then we're sorry for that. Now, I also think there's a lot of suspect things, and there could be foul play. But and honestly, the ex-husband, again, he's not been charged with anything. We're not saying that, but he wasn't a great guy. He's not been a great guy.
Where was that article I just had? Did you see the article before this? Suicide Hotline?
Yes. Yeah.
He tried where was it? He tried to raise her from the dead from a eulogy.
Go back
where
to it,
the
or where'd it go?
I'm looking for it. South Carolina.
Go.
God bless.
Just type in eulogy. I mean, it's got to be closer to where you found it. Was right before you did the 988 thing.
There you go.
There you
Fox
go.
News. South Carolina
That
woman
tracks.
Mica Miller's husband says he tried to raise her from the dead during eulogy.
Um,
So during the eulogy in a church, like, is that even Christian? That sounds satanic to me.
Okay, maybe I'm a little bit
No,
on
no,
the can someone explain to me what does it mean to try to bring her from the dead from the eulogy? Can someone explain that
Yes.
to me? Because
To
I am maybe a little bit slow on this,
So-
but I'm trying to.
I believe what meant was
that's cool. That's cool shit.
prior to me giving this eulogy at her funeral, I spoke with God and made a deal, and I wanted to said if you brought her back, I'd be great. That's how I read that.
Really? Wow.
That's how I read that.
That's incredible. That's completely different than how I digested that. How do you see it, Rose?
I don't.
So during the eulogy, that's when at the funeral, that's when you're.
They're quoting
you know,
in her eulogy.
speaking.
He said he tried to raise her from the dead at some point. I think
I just
Let's read the
during
article.
this he goes, yeah, let's read that.
yeah,
South
because
Carolina
I
pastor. So it's not all bad because remember Jesus came back from the dead as well.
Right.
So
Yes.
we might want that. South
remember
Carolina pastor.
there's lines. Sorry, AC.
It's all good.
Remember there is a crisis line you can actually reach out to, which is 1-800-273-TALK, which is 82555, or the 988. Please reach out if there's anything that you're going through. You're not alone. There is people that will listen to you, and you are still loved. So don't ever think that taking your life is the way out. There's a lot of people that care about you if you're on that path.
And don't go to a gun store because we found out tonight that it's frighteningly fast to get a gun. So, or I've even seen them at Walmart. So, like, don't even think about
Hold
it.
on. Okay, so here, can I read what you just had up there?
Oh, sure. I was about to go for it.
Yeah, I read forward and it struck me.
Okay. So, all right. Sorry. Am I back on? All right, cool. We
You're
stopped
good. Yes.
for a PSA. Okay. The story, so South Carolina pastor John Paul Miller on Sunday remembered his late wife, Mica Miller, in a eulogy at his Myrtle Beach congregation, saying at one point that he tried to raise her from the dead. Mica Miller, 30, died by suicide. Already they're saying that, like if it was obvious. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but on April 27th, after calling authorities to her location at Lumber River State Park in North Carolina, about an hour's drive from Myrtle Beach. Miller began his eulogy by at his congregation called Solid Rock. Ooh, Solid Rock at Common Market. Woo, that's woo stuff. Talking about, like, that's a long name for a church. Talking about his late wife's beauty, saying everyone knew how beautiful she was on the outside, but only a spouse knew how beautiful she was on the inside. She was beautiful on the outside. She won many beautiful pageants when she was young, and she said in the eulogy, which was posted to YouTube, but I got to lay next to her body and spend time with her body about 4 times this week, and each time I still didn't hit me. Although she was going to wake, I thought she was going to wake up. I even tried to raise her from the dead one time this week.
Okay,
so that was a little.
Hold on.
Bit
Can we
specific at the end
unpack that?
Yeah, I'd love
Can
to.
we unpack that? He got to lay next to her body 4 times this week as she was dead.
Because he's a pastor. Nobody's going to, like, what are you doing next to that dead body? I got to do God's
But I
stuff.
And
feel
now we have
it's guilty.
necrophilia in this too.
I
Do you
feel
see
it's
how
a
they-
guilty thing. I feel like he's probably guilty, and I don't know. It to me all around, he's fucking guilty.
How much more does he have to do? He's a pedo. He loves young girls, like to marry, like out in the open. Like he's an adulterer. He likes, like, prostitutes. He's a liar, cheat. Like, how much? I don't understand how much more you have to do to, like, be excommunicated from your community. Like, you're not a pastor anymore. You're a bad example. How do you continue? You know, like, who's gonna go sit there and be like, yes, teach me your word,
I mean,
serpent. You know?
again, they have taken him out of his post. which is good.
I guess, yeah, but like, man,
Yeah,
so,
but he can come back.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
you can
to
move to
let
another state,
him heal, whatever.
right?
And
Um, yeah,
I mean, he
I
can come
got to
back and do this all over again.
the words "I got to lay next to her body and spend time with her body" about 4
Is
times this week
crazy, is
is
crazy,
fucking
crazy.
what?
What is this? Everyone know how beautiful she was on the outside, but only a spouse knows
Only a
how.
spouse knows.
Yeah, because I've been inside her. That's like that's the verbiage he's using.
That's
Like
what he's implying. Yes,
I've been
yes.
inside her. You have not. Only me knows what the inside feels like. And then I got necrophilia vibes from laying next to her because I don't know.
Yes.
No one was in that room with them, and I don't know what he did.
Mm-mm.
So
He got to spend time with her body about 4 times.
with her what?
And
With
each
her
time,
with her
it still
desiccated.
didn't hit him. Meaning,
Yeah.
what was he doing? Yeah.
He was suspended
I
animation.
thought
just
she
can't
was gonna
believe she's
wake up
dead.
as he's,
Oh, yeah,
doing
dreaming
shit.
and fucking. Yeah, dreaming and fucking.
Maybe she's going to wake up as I do this.
Yeah, she smells like
And he's
embalming
not even a
fluid. Like,
good-looking dude. He's not a
no,
good-looking
he's not.
guy.
No,
Pretty
She's
bird is.
she's
gorgeous.
beautiful. She's
He
so
was
gorgeous.
Okay, well, I mean, it's so gorgeous is a little bit much.
I think she's gorgeous. I'm sorry, but I really do. I think she's a beautiful
she
woman,
is.
and especially with she was like I said. There's nobody that talked bad about her. There's nobody that said anything wrong about her.
Yeah,
She was
There's not
beautiful
one
inside and
person.
out.
This is great.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
So
her physical beauty. Yeah, yeah.
so
She's
if
like,
you
I'd
look
say
at
like a
besides the
6.
physical, but if you bring in the inside of her on top of the outside, she's a
Nah,
gorgeous woman.
I just care about the
She's
physical, really.
You know what I mean? If you bring the inside, the shit, like I said, nobody
Nah.
had nothing bad to say about her. Um, and like I said, I do find it super odd on how everything happened, to the point of where they found her body, and then to the point where the next day, 24 hours, he's like, nobody speak of her. Done. Like she was nobody. Threw her
Yeah.
out like,
Well, it's like
bath out,
being
baby water.
like
If
well,
if
like
you quit
being
your
in
job, like,
Scientology. You're a
yeah,
fucking
if you quit your job, you're not gonna hang out with those people every day. It's like, yeah, it's like
Just-
Scientology. It's like that's it, you're done here, right? Like, bye.
Yep.
No, she's right. She's right. Some things are just like that. Like, if you're not with us, you got to go. Like, oh, you don't believe in God the way we believe in God, you got to go, bro. Like,
fuck
Yeah.
off.
we only hang out with people who believe like us. If not, we'd be you, and we're not. We're better than you,
Yeah.
right? So like,
Truth.
that's the whole thing about being in a club nobody's in. They're better than you, and you're not in it, right? So
It's just so, like I said, it's such a sad story because I wish I knew more on the depths on the like I wish I was, walking the steps with her to make her what made her do this. What if it was really a suicide, or was it somebody really that murdered her? Because
either
the guy
way,
that
she was abused. Either way,
yeah, and when you're abused and you go through that,
I don't think it matters anymore. Like, she's gone. Like, she's done with like putting up with this dude's bullshit forever. Either way,
She's at
Some
peace
peo-
now, at least.
some people get some monsters
and
get
she
to
is
keep
at
roaming the
peace.
earth. That's nothing we can do about it, if you did it or
And
not.
but her own family thinks that he did it. So,
Of
they
course,
have a thing called, hashtag, um, I believe it's her name, um, and justice for her. So,
Justice for
I hope,
Micah. Yeah.
yeah, justice for hashtag justice for Mica Miller. And I hope, I really hope they find the answers. And if this is the true side of it, that she actually took her life, I hope her family
she
finds
don't.
out the truth and are
There's no
able
way.
to
I don't think there's any way that you
move
find that out.
forward.
Like, they're always going to be at this like turmoil where they're not going to know because nobody was
I
with her.
mean, if it wasn't her taking her own life, unless somebody confesses, which I doubt
Even
will
then,
happen.
how would you really know?
I
Yeah.
don't. Well, I mean, if her ex decided to have a come to Jesus moment, for lack of better words,
Yeah, true,
and
true.
felt he was going to atone for his mistakes, because let's be real, we have all kind of decided that, he's a piece of shit. If he decided I'm going to atone for my mistakes and say, this is what happened, this is how I made it happen.
Right, killer or not, like he's a dickhead. Like he's an adulterer, pedo. He's horrible.
Well,
It's just such a it's a tragic story. It really is. And like I said, going through it with, personally going through some of my own things with this story, um, you always wish that that wasn't the truth on the other side, that they didn't do it on their own. There was something, maybe somebody did something right. We always wanna look at they didn't do it on their own.
Here we go. So John Paul, this is the part you were talking about. John Paul announced his wife's suicide April 28th, the day after her death. ABC 15 reported. So it was like right away, like you said. And then Mike was in the process of formally separating, like Sam was explaining. And then investigators determined that Micah purchased a 9mm Sig Sauer handgun from a pawn shop. Okay, so that makes sense. On the morning of, she allegedly died by suicide. It's just weird to for a woman to go get a gun, for me. But again, that's another state. Authorities found the gun case as a receipt for the purchase in her vehicle at Lumber River State Park. Okay, so I just don't see anybody why would, unless it was a hitman that would had to go through the performative bullet points to build a case. There's no reason that this would happen other than her depression. And she's like, I'm done. I can't deal with this.
Richie Rugg said, the next stop, Scientology.
Yeah. There we go, bro. Absolutely.
Right.
Scientology, dude. I'm a OT8. I got Satans everywhere, bro. Rose, she's a high priestess in Scientology. She gets the cans. Yeah, like that. The auditors, remember? You better tell me some shit. Right? You better tell me something. If not, you can't leave here.
Tell me something, and God, I just kind of lost track right now.
It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple case above all. We can keep rehashing it and stuff, but it's really a matter of, did this absolute asshole of a person who's literally a scumbag human being for maybe everything but murder, is he capable of something like this, or did he drive her to be so sad that she had to die? Either way, he did it. He's a dickhead. He should be in jail. But it's a really kind of simple either or kind of case.
But then it comes down to the case of, okay, he pushed her to this limit, right? Yeah. It's kind of like the Gypsy Rose, where she had someone murder her family.
Wait, okay. So I'm gonna be right? I'm gonna be the husband. Okay, push you to what limit, babe? What limit?
Well, the limit to take your life. The limit to, life is so horrible.
I didn't know you were so upset. Every once in a while, I kind of, I get a little rough with you, but I love you. I'll never leave you. God loves us. We can't be apart.
But okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Coming from an abusive relationship, coming from a very, very abusive relationship, for my past, it was 9 years. They make you believe that you're wrong 24/7. You are wrong. It doesn't matter what you do in life. You are wrong. You have a child, you're still wrong for having a kid. You work hard, you give them everything, you give them your paycheck, you're still wrong. And it's a narcissist.
You feel good about yourself, and then you want to then you see how good that feels, and you want more of it. You can't. That's too much power for you. Then you'll figure out to leave me, because that guy knew that all the assholes know that they're assholes, and they're really afraid to what they're really is afraid for a good woman to leave them. So that's what they're really afraid of. So that's why I think they hit women, because they're don't fucking leave, and they don't know how to really express this. And I do believe that they're I'm sorry I did that, in the long run, but they don't know what the fuck. They're just assholes. So
and it always starts with the isolation of the family.
Yeah.
The closest people to you.
And I love you. I love
isolate you. With the family, they're always wrong. They don't like me. I'm perfect. I'm blah blah blah.
Suppressive person from Scientology. Same.
Yeah, and it kind of, it's like a cycle. I know we've been doing all these stories for a while. It's always the control, the cycle. I know when my ex-husband when he took his life. I know that his mom didn't want to believe it. I
What
know
happened to
that she was
Sam?
like, "No." Um, I believe, the hot spot, if you look in the messages,
Oh,
it's in there.
shit. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I was looking at the screen.
So
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
definitely we are at
Or calling
the
with your phone,
2
Sam. Sorry.
Yeah, call in with your phone, Sam, if you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Call in. Let me send her a message real quick.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
And she was very pretty in some of these pictures. She's a heck of a girl.
And I wish if you guys get a chance, go back to either to her YouTube or her TikTok channel. She's got some amazing videos on there. She really goes into depth on why these things are the way they are.
We never saw the boomer detectives going, I know it's AI.
Yeah, you wanna play that clip real quick?
All right, last one. Let me find this guy. This guy's exactly who I thought you like when I was like saying like, but the detective better not be an old guy who doesn't know what like, AI is, right?
Yeah,
There's
there's 2 detectives on there. I sent you both of them.
Yeah, let's check out. Let's check this guy out right now on the share at the stage.
I can't hear anything. I don't know if you can.
You can't hear that?
No.
Okay. Share screen, share tab. That's what I was sharing.
Left on our last couple of videos, and several people
There we go. I can hear it.
theory that
You can hear now?
voice on the
Yes.
911 recording could potentially be AI, that she didn't actually make the call. There are also reports that JP's lawyer specializes in the use of AI. This is all alleged, of course. Sounds impossible, right? That someone could take an audio recording of their voice, upload it to a software, give it a script, and get an AI-generated clone of their voice in less than 1 minute.
That's old as fuck.
Surely you would know if you were hearing the AI version of someone's voice, right? What if I told you that you're listening to an AI-generated clone of my voice right now, and I have yet to actually speak in this video? Would you believe that it's possible then? So what you just heard was a cheap, free, AI-generated program that recreated my voice. Got pretty close. So all the allegations in the Mica Miller case that AI was used to call 911.
Yeah.
I
don't know, man. Can you guys believe? Yes. Everybody now and these days can believe that an entire conversation can be replicated through AI. He's very like, wow. Can you believe it? Yes. We've actually been doing that for a long time. The CIA has been doing it forever. Like,
my AI sounds like Samuel Jackson.
Look, motherfucker. I got motherfucking snakes on the
Lord have
motherfucking
mercy on
plane.
us. Oh gosh.
Yeah. It'd be awesome if it sounded like a pirate. Like, you can make it an AI that sounds like a pirate. So you just have like a personal assistant. It's like instead of Siri, you're like
Right.
Captain Jack.
Captain Jack. Oh yes. If you can sound like Johnny Depp on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is Chuck E. Cheese still open?
there.
Yes, Mom. It's
Yes,
still
it
open
is.
it's still open till about 8 p.m. tonight.
Oh,
Make
you
sure
have no
it's-
idea.
Yeah.
My kid cries to go to Chuck E. Cheese every night. You have no idea.
Well,
but you know what? I'm sad
looks like you
because
can
they
do it
don't-
tonight, Savvy.
Yeah, the sad part is that they don't have the the Chucky little things anymore. So it's all video screen. So it's kind of sad.
Do they still have the bears that come out and they're like da 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 da?
No, it's all gone. It's all video.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's all gone. It's all gone. It's
We
all
used to have one
revamped.
in Miami. And so we had Chuck E. Cheese and everything, but we also had we also had one called Pirates, and it was a whole pirate like ship inside of, and it was a huge arcade inside of and they gave tickets and they did dancing stuff, but it was all pirate themed, and that's where I like kind of became obsessed with fucking pirates. And I'd like sit there and be like, I want to go back to the arcade. I'm 7 years old, like sound like this, and I'm 7. I say the 7 seas, the loot and plunder everything.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well,
all right.
How long
Well,
have we been on? I think
we've been on for 2 hours and 5 minutes. So everybody, if you want to enjoy a cocktail without actually having to mix anything, go get yourself some Cutwater, and they have a variety of cocktails. They're amazing. I've already actually had 4 tonight, and
And
yeah,
she's slurring her words, and she wants to. She's had 4, and she already wants to get back the guns. So you know what I mean. She's already
yes.
like, maybe some rules are okay. Mm-mm.
Oh, I think we've got Sam back. Here we go.
Oh,
There we
she
go.
is.
Yay! We got her back.
Hey, I'm
Yay!
in a different location.
Turn your phone around.
Got it.
There you
good?
go. Hell
Yay!
yeah.
There we go.
Looking
go.
Sorry
good.
about that.
No, no
Sorry
worries.
about
Totally
that.
fine. Very happy you're back.
Yes. So yeah, so definitely there's what do you think about this whole story, Sam? Before we log off.
I don't know. Honestly, I think I had a jerk reaction to the whole thing when I first read it. I'm like, oh, he did it. Kind of going with evidence. Maybe he didn't, but there's a reason she did what she did if the taking of her own life was a thing. So all around, it's a fucked up story, and I feel bad for her. I feel bad for her family, and it just shouldn't have happened. And people like him shouldn't be sheltered by
Alive.
the
Yep.
sheltered by the clergy or the church.
Right.
And just because you say you're a man of God doesn't mean that you have carte blanche to do what you want. I mean, we see it all the time in the Catholic Church, all
Yeah.
sorts of misconduct in plenty of the clergy.
Rules for
in,
me,
in
for
every,
thee, never for
yeah,
me.
and exactly. And I think that's the saddest point of it all. And this is a horribly sad situation, and I believe we're going to have updates for quite a while since this is so new. I mean, this literally happened, not even 2 months ago, a month and a half
Crazy.
ago. So I'm glad Truthful Sweet brought it to us to
Thank
do.
you very much. Yes.
I mean,
yes.
what a great timely
time.
thing to go over. I typically like it when we do a story that has a neat buttoned up ending, but it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds.
Yeah.
So I
Definitely.
kind of agreed with you a little bit, but I went further. I say he's guilty either way, because either he
Right.
figured this out, right? Like that's pretty much what you said, right? Like it's either he's scumbag enough to make this girl feel like she was less than so much that she wanted to die, or he actually did it. So like either way, fucking throw this guy into the jail. I hate him. You're right. I want this to be neatly sewn up, and I'm gonna be thinking about this. I hate this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate this guy.
Scum of the earth. Scum of
Scum
the
of the
earth.
earth. Big time. And for all of you guys listening, please share, like, subscribe for all our newcomers. It would greatly mean a lot. And if you are a return, thank you for coming back and listening to us. We greatly appreciate it. And stay tuned for the next cocktails for our next shows. We do have a Monday night show that we did already record.
Yeah.
Jennifer Pan is the story. I hope you guys, we had a guest on that brought us this story, which was my son. He brought us the story for our Monday night show, and it was great. That is a pre-recorded, but if you guys type in and leave your messages, your questions, or whatever, we will be on the back end answering them live as the show is going. So, so please tune in and let us know what you think. And if you have a favorite cocktail, let us know. Let us know what your favorite cocktail is, or let us know what your favorite drink is. For me, I am I don't like to sit there and try to figure out mixtures on anything, just because I don't
Who
like
wants
to
to
do all
think
that.
when we're drinking, right?
So no longer are we a pot. I get it. Cut water, dude.
Cut
Hey,
water.
cut water's a shit. So no longer are we a podcast where like we are gonna just decide what to do. Like we have to go where the news is. Right now we're like beat reporters. So if shit's popping off in fucking Calgary, fucking Canada, we got to figure out what the fuck they drink there, and we got to drink that. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
things are popping off, and insert wherever place. We got to do some research, and that's what we're going to be drinking. So it's dynamic as well.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm so happy to announce that we will be doing now 2 shows a week. So you're going to get us twice a week, Monday nights at 7 p.m. and Friday nights at 7 p.m.
Pacific.
Pacific Standard Time. And on Sam's side, it is
9 p.m.
Sunday.
Central.
9 p.m. Central. I'm gonna
Only
remember
2
this.
hours
But,
difference.
Yeah.
but
And
yes,
that's 10 p.m. Eastern if you really want to go across the gamut.
yes. So please join us, and join us on Monday nights and join us on Friday nights. We really appreciate it. And Friday nights are our lives. We don't edit our footage when we're live or our pre-recorded ones. What you see is what you get. So
All this.
yes,
that.
all of the sexiness of AC and
All that.
because and if you're out in Vegas, you never know, you might find him on a stripper pole. You never know. He
You
might be
never
on
know. Yep.
the Black Stallion side over on Vegas side.
How do you know what that's called? You know what that's called?
Oh,
The black. It's called the Black Stallion. Wow.
oh yeah, there is.
You just
Yeah, it's
told on yourself. I had no idea what that was called.
I just
She's like, I may have been
allegedly.
there.
Allegedly, I just
Dun,
know that
dun,
there's a
Sure. I think you know what? It was AI. I wasn't really
yeah,
there.
absolutely. It wasn't me. It was just an AI. It's just a
It
figure
was,
of
it
my
was an AI
imagination
hologram.
here.
If Tupac could
Yes.
be at Coachella, I could be at that motherfucker.
So thank you everyone for joining us tonight and hanging out. And I love everybody's leaving comments. Gosh Dad SD and
IHOP.
Richie Ruggs. Thank you guys for leaving all your comments. And it looks like Gosh Dad is in at IHOP. He lives live from
Live.
IHOP. So
Everyone live from
funny.
IHOP. Everyone, he's having. Yeah, looks like he's having the short stack. It looks like he's having the short stack with a crispy side of bacon. Everybody.
Right.
yes, and thank you, Richie. Thank you for always joining our lives and hanging out with us. And
Bring some friends. Bring some friends and say, you know
Yeah.
what? We hang out on Fridays. This is what we're gonna do, and we'll work extra
Definitely.
hard to keep them.
And like I said, if there's a
Absolutely.
show, if there's a story you're following or you're doing and you want us to feature it, leave us a message on Instagram or send me a message on Facebook. We will get back to you and let us know what you want us to feature next. There's a lot of them right now, a lot. And
So Truthful got hers. Truthful
A
got hers
lot.
tonight, and then
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
want to do one in the works with a very special guest for you, Sam. Right?
Yes. 2 weeks from tonight, we will have my daughter Alex on the show with us. We're gonna do that. A new Netflix documentary came out about dancing with the devil. It's about the kids that danced on TikTok and have done all sorts of dance, been in the dancing world. That, in essence, joined a cult. And one of the gals, they ostracized their families and things. And so I thought would be good to have a perspective. My daughter danced from age 3 to 18, and did competitions and kind of knows that world, and
Who would know more than that? Yeah.
definitely has watched those kids dance. I mean, they're kids to me and us. These
Yeah.
kids are mid to late 20s now, and I think she'll have an interesting take on that whole scene. Because she's probably seen it.
I'm gonna get
And you
mad.
can
Huh?
watch the documentary on Netflix. It's
Netflix,
called
yes.
Dancing with the Devil
I'm gonna
on
get so mad.
Netflix. You can go ahead and watch it now to get ahead of what the story's going to be at. It's called Dancing with the Devil on Netflix. It's
You can
such a
fact
good
check us.
story.
You can
It's
fact check
so
us.
good. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
if there's something we're offbeat, send us a message and say, hey, no, this is what I saw,
Which we've never been offbeat, like not once. But
No, we
if we
haven't.
were to be, like it's never been a thing. But I mean, just
No,
a
it'll be
game.
good. It'll be nice to have a younger perspective, like we do when we have Rose's son on,
Yep. Mhm.
especially someone who's been in the dance world. So
Right.
it'll be kind of interesting to see.
That's gonna
I'm
be interesting.
excited to hear your daughter's story because my little one who's
Mhm.
5, she wants to do some ballet and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see her side of dancing and on that perspective on things, because you always hear the good and the bad on those things.
Mhm.
And especially in ballet and stuff, it's a critical thing.
Just don't
Gotta
twerk on
be a certain way.
TikTok. I think ballet's
Right?
fun. Just don't twerk on TikTok. That's
No,
I
it's,
mean,
it's so
But in the
funny.
ballet world is
Yeah.
very
It's
difficult, because in the ballet
intense.
world, in the
absolutely.
ballet, you've got to be a certain weight, you've got to look a certain way, you've got to, there's so, especially what's it called? What was that movie that came out? The Black Swan. I think it
Yes.
was, or
Yeah.
they kind of like,
With Padme
you know,
Amidala. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
where they really touch bases on that. So, it's interesting. It's very critical. So I'm very
Padme.
interesting to ask your daughter some questions, and I'm excited
Yeah.
to have her on. So you guys stay
She's been
tuned for
in
that.
Yeah. You'll enjoy it. She's been in competition I don't know, since she was 6. So, so she'll have a good perspective on how it was on her end. So
I'll try
I'm
to clean up
excited
my
to
potty
hear it
mouth.
too.
I'll try to clean up my potty mouth.
Oh. She cusses just as much as I do.
I think at that age we all know about cussing.
She's 19. She's an adult
Oh
now.
my gosh, she's a
Oh,
baby.
yeah.
No, I'm gonna clean up
I
my act.
know.
I'm gonna clean up my act.
So-
I'm gonna go to a couple of meetings to be like, are you an alcoholic? No, I just have to hang out with a 19-year-old for like 2 hours, and I don't want to be an
It is
asshole.
different.
Yeah.
It is different.
Richie, watch it
Um,
right now, dude, and report back.
Yes, it's so good.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
really
It's
is good.
so good. And
I'll
let us
be your-
know, Rich. And thank you, Richie, for
I'll
always
dance
being here with us and being in our lives
Yes.
every week. Thank you so much. We really,
Dance
really
off for
appreciate it.
money.
Dancing off at IHOP. All right, gosh, Dad.
Fuck
He's
yeah. I
dancing
want-
up on the table.
I got 4 words for you: Rudy, Tooty, Fresh, and Fruity. Is that's IHOP, right? Yeah. And the blintzes.
All right,
cheese
here-
blintzer. Cheese blintzer.
So before we take off, I think we should have a quick shot.
Oh, Christ.
Did
Hold
we
on.
just do
Give
this?
me a second. 2 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yes.
2 seconds,
like-
Okay.
folks.
Look,
You like
it
to go.
is my
You practically go blind every night, huh? You like let's drink some
this
5X
is my
whiskey.
this is my birthday weekend.
This is the
So
night before. I mean, when it hits midnight, Rose is another year older. So
yes, it
That's
is my
true.
birthday weekend.
That was a
you
surprise for
know,
you.
So yeah, absolutely, we got to drink.
Yeah.
you know?
guys are doing so. To
Drink.
age 32, you've never looked better
Yes.
since I've met you.
Yes. So thank
Great.
you so much. And I like I said, I love you too. Thank you so much for being the best, more than friends in my life. Love you guys.
same.
I'm
Love
gonna
you.
Put this down because I'm so weak and poisoned.
I almost spit my
Ah.
shot with that comment.
I'm just
Easy.
a pussy. Like it's like the pussy king, like, oh, do I really have
The
to bring
pussy
it
king.
up?
Oh.
Everybody got to put your wrist down for the fucking pansy king. Can't wait for this fucking guy to die. Yeah. So, so everybody who's tuned in, have a great night. Have an awesome weekend. Tune in on Monday,
Yes.
on Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to make sure you see our video. We'll be in there. And otherwise, I'm done. I'm going to go get drunk
Yep, it's time to go get drunk and party for the weekend. So love
go
y'all.
down
and be
don't
mad
forget
at
to
this
hit the-
pastor. Fuck this pastor.
Yes.
Right. And don't forget to
We'll
like,
keep
subscribe, and
following
share.
this. Yes.
Mother-
Yes, we'll keep following and don't forget to
I'ma
hit
find you.
like and subscribe and share with your friends. So and let us know if there's something you want to feature. So love y'all. We'll see you all on Monday night and Friday nights.
Hug your friends. Any of this
Bye.
shit can happen to anybody at any time. Oh my God.
Can.
Yep.
Oh God.
Night.
Bye.